Monsters at the movies. Thanks for listening.
He's got one foot in the frying pan and one in the pressure cooker. Believe me, as a bowler, I know that right about now, your bladder feels like an overstuffed vacuum cleaner bag, and your butt is kind of like an about to explode bratwurst.
Hey, you mind? I wasn't talking when you were bowling.
Was I talking out loud?
Welcome to Munsons at the Movies. My name is Kyle. I will once again be your host. Joined by the rest of the Munsons, want to give them a wide berth.
It's what is called a born loser. A real Munson.
And talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. This time, we'll start with James. Just kidding. We're not going to add him in post. He had what I would affectionately refer to as a family emergency. And by family emergency, I just mean people arrived to his house far earlier than he was anticipating. So
I wish he just would have had them all in the background. The whole clan part of the podcast.
do you though? I don't know.
I think this is a challenge for us to do a better job so we are big enough to where we are his excuse out of this. Because that's what he needed.
I like that.
The litmus test. And we failed. He failed.
Yeah.
I will give him credit. He's been very creative over the years. He had a newborn that was still hot from the hospital, throwing up and peeing on him and doing all sorts of liquids in the last recording. So James has, I think, earned his stripes over the years, rocking and rolling on this thing. So we'll just imagine he gave Anna Faris a 100. That's how I'm going to choose to remember him.
T's and P's.
T's and P's, exactly. All right, Aubrey, how about you?
This is the saddest time of the year. I don't know how else to put it. It's me being back from week-long vacation at Disney. Now I'm back at home. The World Cup is over. School will start the next podcast that we do. It's just sad all around. But the thing that cheers me up always is Christopher Nolan. Odyssey is amazing. It's so good. I'll probably see it 3 more times while it's in theaters.
Case, you're coming to us live from another location. It looks like a location with a lot of wood in all the places. Seems like a vibe.
The irony is I moved to North Dakota from Alabama. In the 2 weeks I've lived here, they've set record temperatures, over 95 degrees, 4 different...
In North Dakota?
Jeez.
Jesus.
On multiple days, it's been hotter in North Dakota than where I was living in Alabama. That's summer life, but I got a nice lake breeze coming through the windows and life is good.
My side, I agree with Aubrey. I feel like it's a time of rejuvenation for film. I saw The Odyssey. I didn't see it in IMAX. I feel like I would have had to make that plan 4 months ago, unfortunately. But yeah, there's the one in Woodbridge. So 25 miles. It's not terribly far for me on the north side of Chicago. So there may be an opportunity where I find a seat in the first row in the corner and might be able to see it again. But the movie's incredible. The day that this comes out, I'll be seeing the new Spider-Man film. So I'm excited about that. And just yesterday, they dropped the Avengers Doomsday trailer. The one they dropped at Comic-Con a couple months back or whatever it was. But everybody else finally got a chance to see the trailer. So just, it's getting jacked up on films over here. I'm excited about it.
Did the Doomsday trailer get you hyped? Because I didn't watch it.
It did, but I've watched enough breakdown videos where they described the video. So it didn't have the same flair that normally, because it took them so long to drop it after they showed it at Comic-Con. So but it was interesting to hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice as Dr. Doom. Do not deter. The way he says deter is fascinating. You should watch it just for that. And then thinkable decision.
Probably get to it eventually. I don't want to, but I probably will because at some point in time, I gotta see what everyone's complaining about.
I know you're not a trailer guy, but that one might be one to give a scope out. So
I make exceptions for big movies usually.
Yeah.
I watched the Odyssey trailer, but that's because Josh will send them to me, and the Dune trailer. I have no choice but to watch that.
Yep, it makes sense. You're not going to escape some of these.
Yeah.
But most of it you can avoid. Just don't. I assume your viewing of the Odyssey. Did you watch the Other Mama trailer? You probably didn't watch that. The one with Jessica Chastain.
So we got to the theater. I tried to get to the theater late, so I don't have to watch these trailers. But we got there late, but not late enough, and I saw that trailer. And
it's jarring.
It's just one of those where the trailer ends. I just look at him, I tap her on the leg, and I go, "You got that one. Yeah, watch that one for us."
Yeah, you can cover that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the 3 dope things. Number 1, didn't watch it. So there you go.
yeah. I'm not watching that.
Well, speaking of dope things, happy to bring back Mike Vandevoort to the podcast. Mike is a professional marketer and communicator by day, but actor and sports announcer by night, performing since he was old enough to talk. He's currently a member of the Studio's Performing Arts Center in Naperville, Illinois, and can be seen acting, singing, or lending his voice to productions around the Chicago suburbs. In the past, he's played icons such as Uncle Buck, Freddy Krueger, and Scooby-Doo, among others. He's also lent his voice to numerous NCAA and minor league sports programs over the last 15 years. I had the special opportunity to see him play multiple characters in a local production of Shrek earlier this year. I think my favorite of you played 4 roles in there? I think my favorite was you being the tail of the dragon, waving around the back of the dragon tail the whole time. Probably required the least amount of skill on your side, but it was my favorite of the 4 that you did. He sang the opening number, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the dragon tail. That was fun for me. He was previously with us for the Anthony Mackie, Gina Davis, F. Murray Abraham, Alan Tudyk, and Jay Hernandez episodes. One of those is not like the others. Welcome back, Mike.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, guys. Good to be back, as always. And yes, being the ass end of a dragon was exceptionally exciting.
Highlight.
It's hard, though, to maneuver around like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely had knots in my neck because you're working out your shoulders and you're doing all kinds of weird stuff. But it was my official puppeteering debut, and it was pretty awesome. So we had a nice little crew. It was great.
Yeah, I say it in jest, but that's hard, and it was fun to watch you do it. Going from Papa Shrek to the Dragon's Tail, the things you do in community theater.
The things you do.
That's right. What do you have coming up? What's the next on the docket that I need to make a road trip to watch?
Well, yeah, so we're actually in a weird spot right now. We're kind of in between shows, but we have a couple of really exciting auditions coming up. There's a show out in Warrenville, Natural Talent Productions. They're a great production company. They only do a show every other year, but they're doing Sweeney Todd at Halloween this year.
Oh, baby.
Which is going to just be killer, regardless of whether we're in the show or in the audience. But it's going to be a great production. And then the same company that my wife and I did Shrek with, Magical Starlight here in Naperville, is doing Anastasia, based on the Fox movie from the 90s. Very different. There's no Rasputin, unfortunately. It's a great show, though. It's really, really good music, really good stuff. So we'll be auditioning for that and be a part of that, whether we're on stage behind the scenes or not. It's going to be fun. And then obviously, like I said, we're doing we have the studios here in Naperville as well, which is a performing arts center. There's a community show choir. They do women's vocal groups, men's vocal groups. They've done some youth musical theater camps this summer. And they're doing all kinds of different things to expand. They've got their own show coming up this fall. So really, really cool new space here in Naperville that it's got a really cool kind of group of folks around it. So, yeah.
I love it. Always busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. Well, cool, man. We're happy to have you back. I'm looking forward to this because you always usually drop some random story about how you interacted with the actor we covered at one point. I believe you have one geared and ready to roll. So I'm kind of excited to see where this conversation goes.
Absolutely.
I hope he was an extra on the set of House Bunny. That's what I'm putting in.
Were you on Ransom too? Were you in that movie? So what you're saying?
The movie Just Friends is actually written about my life.
Did she play Anna Faris? All right, birthdays. July 30th. Got 3 goodies here. There's a lot of goodies here. It's tough to narrow this down, but this is why they pay me the big bucks. I picked the 3 that I thought make the most sense. So first off, we'll say Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ever heard of him? He is known for things like Terminator, Last Action Hero, Kindergarten Cop, I'm a cop, you idiot, Expendables, Running Man, Commando, and possibly every other action film ever made. How old is Arnold? There's a lot of stuff he's in that I didn't mention. I could have went on forever.
He was a governor too, so
yeah.
There's that.
Allegedly.
He's a bodybuilder extraordinaire. He's everything.
Chris Pratt's father-in-law.
Oh, that's right. What connection? The connection, the world.
Over under on 5 minutes before Chris Pratt got mentioned. They just won.
That was me, so I cheated.
So how old is Arnold? Arnie?
I'll go with 74.
Ooh, that seems.
Feels like a really good guess.
Give me 60. Give me 66.
66.
But I'm gonna go with 70.
Interesting guess. So I think we had a 66, a 70. And what was yours, Mike?
74.
I asked very specifically because Arnie's turning 79. So Mike takes that one.
Ooh.
He's almost 80 years old.
He looks incredible for 80.
I haven't seen this guy in years, so I have no idea what he looks like.
And I just realized I didn't even mention Jingle All the Way. What am I doing with my life over here? I don't know.
Objectively, his best movie.
Memorable, maybe. All right, next up,
Good one.
Hot or Not, Hilary Swank. From things like $1 Million Baby, Boys Don't Cry, P.S. I Love You, Insomnia, Logan Lucky, Freedom Writers, The Gift, New Year's Eve, The Homesman, and like I said, one of the more famous bits on The Office. Is she hot or not? That is not the question today. The question is her age.
Freedom Writers, one of the most referenced movies in my life, because for a movie that I love, I hate what it has done to my profession.
Accurate.
It is a movie that I reference because I'm like, that person watched Freedom Writers and decided to do this job. And I hate them for that.
Well, the writers of Freedom Writers saw the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer,
Dangerous Minds.
and then they were like, let's do this, and then now you have to deal with it.
Just take out the date and then do it again.
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly 23.
I'm going to say I think we're roughly the same age. So give me 47.
I was going to say Mokushla is 45.
Hilary Swank, who is hot, is turning 52 years old. We'll give the win to Case on this one. All right, last one, certainly not least. Lawrence Fishburne, legend. Known for things like The Matrix, Contagion, 21, Mystic River, the John Wick films, Apocalypse Now, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Last Flag Flying, Searching for Bobby Fischer, Man of Steel, Passengers, Event Horizon, Boys in the Hood, King of New York, Tuskegee Airmen, and Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer instead of Doug Jones because he played the voice for Doug Jones, which is horseshit. But how old is Larry Fishburne?
Legend
Is right.
Mm-hmm.
71.
68.
74.
Everybody's gone over, so I'll give you another chance.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. First time in Munson's history here, I think. maybe one other time.
63.
65.
Well played by all of you. Most well played by Case because he does turn 65. So just came in nice there. Close. You weren't over by much, but everybody was over. So I felt it was important that you redrawed straws on that.
He still looks good too.
He does. Very much. A lot of big honorable mentions on July 30th. Lisa Kudrow, Vivica A. Fox, Terry Crews, Gina Rodriguez, and Christopher Nolan. All those would be perfectly great Munson's birthdays, but not on July 30th. It's a popular one, so happy birthday to them and anybody else on July 30th. All right, we're at episode 139. We had 5 actors we threw onto the wheel. They included Raul Julia, Ed Begley Jr., Stephen Root, and Jackie Weaver. But it doesn't matter because the wheel selected Anna Faris. She has 66 acting credits, 4 producing, 1 writing, 6 soundtrack, and a little bit of theater. So we're going to talk about the highs, the lows, the things we love, things we didn't love as much, things that made us laugh, things that made us cringe, and everything in between. But before we get to that, we always start with a little actor trivia to see if James can stump us Fast and Furious style. Now, James is not with us tonight, but James did me the solid of sending me his trivia. I'll lay on the sword and then let's see how well I can pretend to be James D'Imperio for a hot minute in the trivia land. Mike, you've been here before. You know this. You're part of the initiated. I'm going to read 3 facts about Anna Faris. 2 of them are going to be true. 1 is not going to be true and will be about one of the many illustrious characters and actors in the Fast and Furious franchise. The role of the group here is to identify which one is in fact not true. Fact number 1, encouraged by her parents to pursue modeling and acting as far back as she can remember, she began modeling as a toddler and landed her first paid job in a Pampers commercial at just 2 years old. Fact number 2, she mailed in an audition tape for a role in a movie and was invited to audition in person. Because the production did not cover her travel expenses, she had to use her mother's airline miles to afford the flight. She ultimately landed the lead role, which became her big Hollywood breakthrough. And fact number 3, she pitched a movie to 24 production companies and was rejected by every single one. On her 25th and final attempt, the company's founder spotted her in the waiting room, asked about the premise, laughed at the idea, and agreed to produce it on the spot.
These are very good facts. And
I definitely came up with them. Generated by me, for sure, 100%.
can't imagine how difficult James would have been then.
Definitely does not have at all the James tenor. Yeah.
These are good facts. It's not read as well. So I feel like we've all been let down in that way.
Because of that, I think I picked up which one is the lie.
Ooh.
I think the lie is number 1, but that's actually about Meadow Walker, the daughter of Paul Walker, the goddaughter of Vin Diesel, and famously the unnamed flight attendant in Fast X.
Oh my God. All right, Meadow Walker getting a shout out.
Meadow Walker.
She's always wanted. It's important.
Good flight attendant.
Number 1, because it's the only one I could make sense, and it's Iggy Azalea, who I've guessed a fair amount of times, and I really need to stop guessing.
She started in diaper commercials at 2 years old. Hell yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Even though I don't think that Pampers were invented when this person was a child, he's kind of become my go-to guess for all of these when I think that it's wrong. So I'm also going to go with number 1, but it's about Dame Helen Mirren.
Ooh, Helen Mirren's always a safe choice in this game.
It's a great one.
Good guesses. 3 solid guesses.
All of you said fact 1, so I will go. I will start with fact 2. She mailed in an audition tape for a role in a movie and was invited to audition in person. Because the production did not cover her travel expenses, she had to use her mother's airline miles to afford the flight. We've all had to purchase a flight with miles. She ultimately landed the lead role, which became her big Hollywood breakthrough. That is true. Anna Faris originally mailed in an audition tape for her role in Scary Movie that ultimately went to Shannon Elizabeth, which she was all the rage at the time coming out of the American Pie movies. When she was invited to audition in person, she used her mother's airline miles to pay for the flight because the production did not cover her travel expenses. She was a relative unknown at the time. At the time, she was working at an advertising agency and was just 1 week away from transferring to its London office, so caught her right before a transatlantic move. Instead, she landed the lead role of Cindy Campbell, which was her big breakthrough. And she later said, if I ever win an acting award, the first person I'm going to give thanks to is Keenan Ivory Wayans for taking a chance on me. And she's very complimentary of the Wayans, and particularly him, who gave her first chance. And I've found in multiple interviews, she's just very grateful and showers praise at him whenever she can.
That's cool.
Fact number 3, she pitched a movie to 24 production companies and was rejected by every one. On her 25th and final attempt, the company's founder spotted her in the waiting room, asked about the premise, laughed at the idea, and agreed to produce it on the spot. This is true. Does anybody know the film and who the producer was?
I'm going to say House Bunny.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be the House Bunny, right?
She repeatedly pitched the House Bunny. It was rejected 24 times before taking it to Adam Sandler's Happy Madison production team.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Sandler spotted Faris in the waiting room, asked, what are you doing here? She said, I'm here to pitch you a movie about a Playboy bunny who gets kicked out of the mansion. He was like, okay, all right, that's pretty funny. And the project was greenlit, and Faris was on set 8 weeks later. So Adam Sandler just doing his thing and putting his weight behind a project that I think turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
How did that pitch get rejected 24 times? That's a solid comedic pitch.
Yeah.
Especially if Anna Faris is pitching it to you.
Maybe it's just the Playboy Mansion. Certain production companies didn't want to touch that. I don't know. Especially with the reality show as big as it was in the 90s. I don't know. That's all speculation. All right, fact number 1. All of you guessed this one. Encouraged by her parents to pursue modeling and acting as far back as she can remember, she began modeling as a toddler and landed her first job in a Pampers commercial at just 2 years old. Anna Faris's parents enrolled her in a children's community drama class when she was 6, encouraging her early interest in acting. By age 9, she had landed her first professional role in a 3-month production of Arthur Miller's Danger Memory at the Seattle Repertory Theater, earning $250 for the performance. While she was encouraged by her parents at a young age, she didn't land a paid gig by the age of 2, like Paul Walker, who landed a Pampers commercial as toddler and most famously played Brian O'Connor in the Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, The Fate of the Furious, and Fast X. Case you couldn't have been closer.
So close.
But you all got it right, so I'm proud of you.
Yeah, but I was joking, and I got that close.
Wow.
All right, Case, what do we got for a snapshot in box office?
All right. Anna Faris has a really interesting career when you look at the box office numbers. As we'll talk about, she's a top-billed character on a lot of her projects, but the project quality is usually questionable. From a project quality standpoint, her best work was in the first act of her career with a film superscore average of 55.9. The problem is that 55.9 ranks her at 120th out of 129 in an actor's first act. And then for the last two acts of her career, the last 2/3 of her career, she's below 130th in all those. Her film superscore, which averages all available film scores together, ranks her 137th at just a 51, just ahead of David Spade and Christina Applegate. Anna Faris' average film length is only 95 minutes, ranking her second amongst all our actors behind David Spade. That rules. That certainly helps me watch a lot more movies.
The opposite of Gary Sinise, because his movies were long AF.
The interesting part of her career is that while her resume isn't great on the quality of project side of things, her box office performance more than balances that out. She ranks 4th in the financial hit rate with 90% of her movies making money. She ranks 5th on ROI at 381.7%.
And is an indisputable force in the scary movie franchise,
which grossed $1.05 billion, which, by the way, is nearly 25% of her world gross. So when she's thanking the Wayans for getting her involved in that project, they all should be thanking each other. The other impressive film was Lost in Translation. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. That movie continues to be the 18th best return on investment in our, maybe are we around 10,000 movies at this point? We're earning 2,893% on its investment. Brokeback Mountain is another interesting movie. That movie had a $547,000 opening weekend performance and then topped off at an impressive $178 million world gross. Unfortunately, those are the only two movies in Anna Faris' resume that hit with fans, critics, and box office. Meanwhile, she has 22 different movies, way too many to list, that did not land with critics. However, I think we all know going into the conversation tonight, Anna Faris' career and probably her acting style are much more aimed at the fans than critics, which is apparent because she has a 14% increase in her audience score over her critic score. Going into our new, improved, and crowd-engineered formula for Anna Faris, the numbers tell a pretty balanced story. And I'll start with the resume side of her story. Her median superscore is 49.3, which ranks 135th. Average superscore is 50.7, which also ranks 135th. Film quality hit rate, 5.1%, puts her at 131. 29 active years puts her at 113th. Top end film quality is 75.9, which ranks her 130th.
Jesus.
Weak film reliability, 48.7% of her movies are weak films. Film prestige, which it looks at films that she's been in that have won awards, both Golden Globes and Oscars, and she ranks 119th. On the box office side of things, the numbers get a lot shinier. Return on investment, she's second. She averages 143% return on investment in the movies that she's in. I would say very good world grosses with modest budgets. Median gross strength, she's 19th with 80.8 million. World gross, she's 63 with 4.31 billion. Financial hit rate, 6 out of 139 with 76.5% of her movies making money. That's phenomenal.
Jesus.
If you add up her top 5 box offices, it's 1.67 billion, which ranks 97th. Domestic world gross, 57th at 2.07 billion. She's 64th at 280 million tickets sold, estimated. Bomb resistance, 91.2%, which is good. And then opening weekend, she's 49th with 57.2 million. All of those factors together, she ranks 47th out of 139, just behind Adam Driver and Halle Berry, but just ahead of Christoph Waltz and Jay Hernandez.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say Chris Pratt. Would have made me laugh.
Oh.
Our new box office, she is not ahead of Chris Pratt.
Case, you're so dangerous with all this data, man. Like, this is just comparatively like early Munsons where you're like 6 data points. You just dropped casual 40 and like 4 months.
It's easy to do now.
What a wildly fascinating
Yeah.
box office between being like one of the worst with critics, but top 5 in ROI with like making money on projects is That's an insane profile.
Yeah, I'm seeing all these high box office numbers. And I'm like, holy hell, she's going to do real well. In fact, the app splits up the resume side from the box side, and she ranked 134th out of 139 on the resume side, which really focuses on like film quality. And on the box office side, she's 34th.
Jesus.
She's very good.
There's something to be said too about that, where it's like I've always been of the opinion that like when it comes to movies, there's two different camps. There's film and then there's entertainment. You know, The Odyssey is probably a little bit of both, but it's definitely, I would say it leans more towards that film idea.
Yep.
And what she's doing, now granted, I mean, obviously we talked about she's worked with Adam Sandler, and I think Happy Madison is a great example of this. You know, a lot of their movies are these movies that they're low budget, but they've got good star power behind them. The writing isn't terrible. And so, like, the star power, the marketability, like, the kind of casualness of them makes them endearing. And so, like, yeah, like, of course, you know, critics aren't going to like it, but audiences do. I mean, yeah, I don't think any critic is going to tell you that The House Bunny is a great movie, but it's one of those films that when it's on, I watch it because it's great. Like, I find it very entertaining.
To your point, Mike, I was shocked that her average budget was so low. The average budget that she's in is a $38 million budget, which seemed very low for how high profile she is and the movies that she's in are.
Yeah.
Well, I think she might have found like a glitch. She makes low budget comedies.
Yeah.
You find a good audience for that. You're going to make a good amount of money. Like horror has found a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's different in the sense of she's not as so big of a star as like Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell that the investment doesn't have to be so huge up front.
Yeah.
So she can make a low budget comedy.
Yep.
But she appears to be a big enough star to make them all work, which I just wouldn't have guessed. Like I wouldn't have guessed that these movies made money, even the ones I like.
Yeah. Yeah, that fifth overall ROI blows me away. Genuinely.
And I was shocked at how many movies she's in the top billing of.
Oh yeah. She's not a supporting character in most of her films. It's
86% of the movies she's top billed in.
Damn.
That's cool.
This is why I love doing this. It's just such a unique take. Like we could talk about the subjective side of it, but like Case just gives us straight numbers, man. No emotions tied to them. We can describe emotions. Here's what the numbers look like. This is why people keep putting her in movies, because they make money.
I think it's important on episodes like this to have that, because you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have ever guessed this.
No.
Like if I was a listener to this, I would have been shocked by this.
Yep.
I think it's a good way to put her as an actor and her career in context.
Let's go.
Thanks, Case.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you getting us started. All right, so first major role we're going to talk about is 2000. So everything before 2000. Usually I rely on James to kind of supplement some of this, but I'll do my best. She was born in Baltimore. Her parents, her dad was a sociology professor at Towson, and her mom was a special ed teacher, so very much comes from an education family. So she's born in 1976. When she was 6, I believe is when she was 6, they moved to Edmonds, Washington. Her dad worked at the University of Washington, UW, in the sociology department. And I thought it was kind of entertaining that her brother is also a sociology professor at UC Davis. So the sociology runs deep in the Faris family over there. And as a former sociology anthropology major, mad respect, you'll probably get an extra point in my Munson Meter for that. So love that. So her first taste of acting was when she was very young. She enrolled in community drama for children. So that would have been when she was 7 years old in 1983. And that's really where she developed her love for acting. So she said that in her early days of acting, she would imagine that her orthodontal retainer was talking to her, and that she pictured herself on talk shows to talk about her talking retainer. So the imagination was ripping and roaring with Anna Faris.
Yeah.
She performed with the Seattle Repertory Company in high school in Seattle, as James mentioned in his trivia. And she graduated from UW in English Lit in 1999. So shout out to the English literature majors out in the world. You got something in common with Anna Faris. So she diverted from that London temp job that James mentioned to live in LA to pursue acting. So, I mean, she was right on her way to moving overseas, kind of got her big break with Scary Movie. But before that, as she's grinding it out to get roles, her first ever role was in a TV movie in 91. So she would have been 15 years old. So at 15, she played the character Liz in Deception, A Mother's Secret. 96, though, at the age of 20, she played the character Dithy in Eden, which is a movie that premiered at Sundance. I watched Eden, or I watched most of Eden. I tried to spot her. I think I just missed her because I probably just wasn't paying enough attention when she showed up in the film. A decent movie from the late 90s with Sean Patrick Flannery, Dylan Walsh. So some actors you might recognize, but I didn't catch her. I must have missed her. Whatever scene she was in, she must have only been in a scene or two. And in 99, she was in a movie called Lover's Lane. She played Janelle. She played a slasher cheerleader. So a little bit of a horror film there.
I didn't watch this movie. I'm just reading plot description now. A man who committed a series of murders 13 years ago begins to hunt down his victims' children.
Yeah.
This movie is insane. Also,
yeah,
should have watched it. This is on me. That's my bad.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I have two theories on this movie. Number one, I have a feeling it was filmed way before 2000 when it was, or 99 or 2000 when it was released. And number two, I think it was only released because of her.
Oh, yeah.
The word was out that she had gotten Scary Movie. Everybody, including her, she looks very young. In some places I looked, this isn't even on her filmography. So it's like her and a couple other people were like, we weren't in that movie. Trust me.
Did you see the tagline on the cover? There's no such thing as safe sex. I mean, come on. It's incredible.
This sounds like top tier slasher stuff to me.
That feels like a Friday night with a drink in your hand. That feels like a good time.
I got progressively more interested in this movie as it was going on because it started feeling like she was going to be the final girl. And unfortunately, spoiler,
cheerleader died.
She didn't make it to the end. If I was going to sum her character up, I would say that in Grindhouse, the cheerleader that Quentin Tarantino has in the Stuntman Mike story.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was inspired by
Anna Faris's role in Lover's Lane.
We will have to return to Lover's Lane. Case watched it. That seems like a ringing endorsement. Now, the one non-film part related to this is I believe she was on set with Ben Idra, and they met while filming this movie, and she dated him, and they were married from 2004 to 2007. So, she found love, at least for a little bit, on Lover's Lane.
Oh, there you go.
Something to be said. Yeah. All right. Well, first major role. This is an obvious one. If you're doing Anna Faris, you're going to talk about Scary Movie alongside Regina Hall, one of our podcast favorites. She plays Cindy Campbell, 2000. And Mike, our guest Munson, drew this one.
As you said, I don't think there is any more iconic Anna Faris role than her role as Cindy Campbell in, what is it now, 5 of the 6 Scary Movies? Because I believe 5 is the only one she wasn't in.
Yeah, she wasn't in 5. Yep.
It's a movie I remember fondly from childhood, and I will explain why when we get near the end of this. It's a great movie. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. It's a good one. But at the same time, it's a spoof. You will appreciate the comedy of it, but if you know the 90s horror films like, I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream and even, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and some of this other stuff, like you get so much more out of this film. My dad and I always thoroughly appreciated what he referred to as spoofy movie. And it was this thing where it's like, yes, on its face, it is dumb and it is immature and it's ridiculous. But then, like, if you understand the source material that it's based on, it's a whole nother level of humorous because there's a lot of good, smart references into it. So highly recommended. I mean, the basic story is the same as Scream. High school kids, there's a killer running around killing them. And they're basically trying to make sure that they don't die while the cops bumble their way through trying to also make sure they don't die. It's been a minute since I've watched this. I watched some of the sequels more frequently than I've watched the original in a while, but so this was a lot of fun for me. One thing I did initially hit off was, I know she's naturally a blonde, but Anna Faris looks great as a brunette. Cindy Campbell is a brunette for most of the series, and she kills it. our point earlier, we talked about, the Wayans Bros. Like, obviously they're a part of this. Regina Hall. It's a pretty good cast when it comes from a comedy standpoint. Like I said, it's got multiple layers of comedy, but it's very absurd. It's very self-referencing. I love how, like, even I believe it's Marlon Wayans is Shorty, and he calls out the parrot. How it literally is like, no, I've seen this movie before. Like, literally the exact same one. It was called Scream. Yeah, like, just good stuff. Like, there's some good writing in there where there's good layers of it. She plays a really good, like, ingenue, and it makes sense that it's her first movie, just because, I don't know, like, when you watch her later films, she definitely, grows and her style becomes a bit different. But, like, in these, like, the casting was perfect. Like, props to Keenan Ivory Wayans. Like,
Yeah.
for taking that chance on her. Like, she's the straight man. Like, that's the best way to put it. She's the straight man through most of this, and she has the comedic chops to play both the straight man, as she usually does in a scary movie, and then she has those moments where she is completely absurd and ridiculous. And we've talked about the House Bunny, and then we'll get to it later, but, like, that's a great example of her just being kind of weird and crazy off the wall. So I love that range is kind of seen throughout the series. Now, I will say the movie, it's a good movie. As I've mentioned, there are some dated things about it for sure. It is absolutely a product of its time. Officer Doofy, the character, is kind of offensive, I would say, in the modern era. It's just because towards disabled people, and I found it really funny when there's a bit about Lachlan Monroe's character having, like, a micro penis. And he actually makes a joke about how, like, it's not cool to make fun of people with disabilities. And I'm like, that's literally, like, one of the entire points of a character in this movie. And then, like, the transphobic, there's a bit of transphobic stuff going on too with Miss Mann, the gym teacher. However, I will say when it came out, this did lead to what is quite possibly the most awkward situation of cinematic viewing I've had in my lifetime. So this was my fun story when I saw The Wheel picked Anna, and I saw that Scary Movie was what I got chosen with. I had to laugh because it took me back to being 10 years old, and we were on a family vacation. We had gone out and seen a show. I think it was The Lion King, something like that. And we came back to the hotel room, and it was, 9:30, and this was like the movie that was free on pay-per-view that weekend or whatever. And so my dad was like, well, let's watch this. It'll be fun. And my mom was kind of hesitant, but it was like, oh, okay. And, it was adult enough that I think a lot of the stuff went over my head as a year-old. But that scene with Miss Mann where her testicles fall out of her underpants.
Spoiler.
I literally remember my dad just laughing, his signature laugh, at how hilariously awkward the situation was, and my mom just turning beet red and couldn't decide if she was more embarrassed or angry. And she just hobbled out of the room, and I think she spent the rest of the movie sitting in the bathroom while my dad and I finished watching. It's a quintessential, like,
seminal moment. Yeah.
Key moment of bonding with my dad. But one of those scenes that I was just like, looking back on this, I went, oh, one, I understand why my mom did that, but two, I'm also like, oh, looking back at this 25 years later, it's not as kosher as it once was. Now, that said, now that I've talked about the negative things, I will say that some of my favorite parts of this movie are the sight gags. I'm a huge fan of sight gags. They have some great ones. The popcorn getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the opening scene, which is something they kind of carry throughout some of the other movies. Just the stuff getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The hat in the third one, which my wife, it's like her favorite scene in any of these movies. The killer mopping up behind them after he does one of his skills.
I forgot about that.
The hide and seek game that Anna plays with the killer at one point. The sheriff's sexy photos.
I can see your feet under the.
And it does have some iconic scenes. Like, there are some scenes that it's like I watched them and I went, oh my gosh, I forgot that this bit was originated. And it's I totally forgot about the whole bit with Shannon Elizabeth's character being sarcastic the entire time the killer is killing her.
After she's been beheaded. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just keeps talking.
He wins the acting contest.
Yes. And the Regina Hall's character in the movie theater, which like I had to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I forgot that I've seen this scene a gazillion times.
Oh, this is scurry.
Yeah. And it's like,
I still say things are scurry.
exactly. It's like we've all been there. It's like we all know those
Scurry shit.
And then obviously they do some Matrix, references and things like that. But it's just there's a lot of good scenes in the original Scary Movie that you kind of forget have influenced a lot of other comedy films in the last 20. So I got to give it its dues. Like it's dated. We have to give credit to the movie. As I said, my dad always liked to call these movies the spoofy movies, and he loved them. And like I think this was the one that really kicked off a lot of those. I think it's a good movie, and I think that it doesn't get enough credit for kind of establishing some things that it did for a lot of comedy movies over the last 25 years.
Yeah. I'm a Scary Movie guy. I enjoy it. There are things like anything else, when you do references to pop culture at that moment, that later generations, it's going to fall on deaf ears. It wasn't just horror. It was Usual Suspects at the end with Doofy. You've got, obviously, commercials. You even see that in Scary Movie 2, the Nike commercials where they're like out of nowhere, they're just, dribbling basketballs. And we're like,
The best bit.
It's so ridiculous. It's great, though.
It's awesome.
And I agree with you, too. The second one, I rewatched 1, 2, and 3, and I saw the new one in theaters right before we talked about doing Anna Faris. And the second one I like because it's its own unique setting. It feels like less of a spoof and more of an actual movie with like spoof-like characteristics. Mm-hmm. And the third one is stupid, but I also enjoy some of the bits in there with Charlie Sheen. I like the little kid who is like clairvoyant, and everybody walks past, he says some sassy, sarcastic shit about them. That made me laugh. But I know that she was under contract for Scary Movie 3 and beyond. And I know the Wayans reached out and said, hey, we got pushed out. Don't do the movie. And I think she was just young and was like, well, I'm under contract. I don't know what to say. But as soon as they were able to get control back for the latest Scary Movie, one of the first calls was to her to say, hey, come back and be in our picture. So her excellence in these films is not that she is telling jokes. It's that she just has really good comedic timing with the script she's given, in my estimation.
Well, she's working with like comedy royalty.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I assume, and I'll give her the benefit of the doubt of there is an acknowledgement of that. And it's like the only real thing I need to do here is show up and have good comedic timing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Scary Movie guy because I don't think you can be a man of my age and not be a Scary Movie guy. I don't really like 3, 4, and 5. 5 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wasn't rewatching
movies I walked out of the movie theater on.
Well, yeah.
I didn't rewatch 3 because I didn't know at the time what was happening with the Wayans.
Yeah.
No, neither did I.
I've learned about this recently, and 3 is not something I'm interested to go back and watch after hearing how things went down. I like 1. I think 1 is the best of the movies, but these movies are tricky to talk about because it's one of those where like they're not good, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's tricky to talk about because like it relies solely on its bits. And so it makes it more subjective than your average movie and even than your average like genre movie that are already really subjective because what you find funny is what you find and no one can tell you that's wrong or bad. And I would never do that either. But this makes it even more subjective because there's nothing past the jokes that withstands any level of basic scrutiny. I think the reason why 2 stands out as a better movie this time when you watch it is because 2 has an actual plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a through line with everything.
Yeah, for sure.
1 doesn't. It's following loosely how Scream goes, but it kind of just abandons that in the middle and becomes a whole section of other things. So it really relies on its bits. And I think 1 works because the bits are so strong. I think these movies are successful, and spoofs in general, like this genre of movie is its most successful when it's focused on a specific thing it is making fun of. And so I think like Sean's character, I think is probably one of the best parts of the entire franchise because it is a specific thing that it is commenting on and making fun of. It's very clear, and Sean is a really interesting person to deliver that level of comedy. So it works really, really well.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Brenda.
Brenda.
I think all the Anna Faris stuff works really well because it's a clear, focused idea. And so a lot of the bits work well. A lot of Regina Hall's bits, the movie theater bit works well because it's a commentary on a handful of different things and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these elements work. A lot of the stuff around Ghostface were really funny because they're taking the piss out of Ghostface, which is a funny thing to do because I remember as an 11-year-old, I think it was 11 when these movies came out, or was it 96 or 98? I was very young around the time these movies came out.
96, yeah.
But I remember how scared adults were of these movies. So like taking the piss out of Ghostface is kind of funny because it undercuts things and it brings to light things that we all think about when you actually genuinely think about what's going on. So the bits work. What I don't like about these movies is I can get rid of the plot and I can turn my brain off and watch nonsense. I can do that. What I personally can't do is just simple, cheap fart humor. Like, and I don't mean that specifically as that's what it is. I just mean that as like, I don't do like gross gags or like simple, this person standing next to a character and she's beautiful, but she farts and that's hilarious. That kind of stuff I don't find that kind of stuff funny.
Yeah.
And these movies have a lot of that. I think Doofy's a terrible character.
Yeah.
I hate pretty much everything around it, but I pretty much hate it even at the beginning. But at the end of the day, it's the bits. 2 has like iconic bits.
I quote James Woods from the opening scene in Scary Movie 2 all the time when he's in there to do the exorcism of Natasha Lyonne. And he goes in the bathroom. He's, I have to bless this house. And help me to release these demons. Those enchiladas. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I know that's poop humor, Aubrey, but the amount of times I've said these enchiladas in my life is embarrassing.
This is a great example of what I was talking about. I'm not going to shame you for that. If you think that kind of stuff is funny, then that's funny. Like that's not my favorite sequence or joke from that scenario.
No, of course not.
And I think that's the part that makes these movies so tricky to talk about is that they are so subjective.
No, 100%.
I think the second movie, when I watched it, was worse than I remember it being. Because I only remember the top tier bits. I only remembered the ghost having sex with her. I only remembered my germs. I only remember the basketball sequence. Like I only remember those things.
Yeah. When you take yourself out of the individual bits, that like they're trying to create a through line, and the second one does have a more of a story, but it's stupid. Like it's they're not good movies. They're just nostalgic movies in a lot of ways because you remember the TV show or the movie it's referencing or whatever it happens to be. And you're like, that makes sense. Because Ghostface was a clumsy killer in the Scream movies. So Scary Movie poking out how clumsy and stupid he is made sense. Or when he's sitting there getting high with the fellas and rips out this incredible rap while slashing up everybody else in the room. And Shorty's just like, yo, that's the illest rap I ever heard, son.
That's a great bit. That's a great bit.
Absurd.
This is what the Wayans are great at, though. It feels a bit like a stand-up comedy set and how subjective it is and how like reliant it is on its bits and observational humor. They're all really smart, talented comedians. Yeah. And I think you can get lost in the fact that these movies are dumb and miss how brilliant they are. And so the Wayans are so smart at what they're observing. And I honestly and legitimately believe they changed the landscape of horror movies. And I would argue that they cut the legs out of the slasher genre for my generation.
Probably. Yeah.
Because once you watch Scary Movie, you can't watch any slasher the same.
No, you can't take certain things seriously. Any of the normal bits have kind of lost their legs.
That's legitimately brilliant. And I give them a lot of credit for that. So like when I say it's tricky, like I love these movies. They're important. I hated the new one. I wasn't a fan of that.
I hated it too. It was terrible.
But I walked out of the theater and I go, it is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I laughed plenty of time, and it just is what it is.
Well, think of the Wayans. Think what they did with Don't Be a Menace. We'll drink your juice in the hood. Like the full commentary on that genre of film. It changed that genre of film. After that, after that point, you can't take yourself too seriously if you're trying to tell those stories. With Keenan Ivory Wayans, like driving that picture, so they clearly know how to do this well.
They own this genre. This is I'm gonna get you, sucker, in 1988.
Yep.
they're legends in part of what they're able to do with this. But I would say they're legends in part of just observational comedy. Yeah. They're able to find funny all of the time. Agreed. And what I like you called out the sight gags, and I think that's a beautiful thing to call out, because my favorite thing about watching a scary movie is to see the things that are happening that are not the focus of what's happening. Mm-hmm. And those are the funniest parts. In the newest Scary Movie, I laughed the most when they were walking up to the scene. It's a scene taken almost, I think, directly out of Scream 5 or 6.
Yep, one of the later ones.
They're walking up to the scene, and they're walking up, and it's a tracking shot, and behind them in the tracking shot is a bunch of influencers and bloggers with their Ring cameras setting up. And I fucking lost it. It was the funniest thing to me in that whole movie. And it's a great observation. It's a great bit, and we all know what it is. Yeah. And they're so good at that.
Yep. Him mopping up after his kill is one of the funniest. I totally forgot about that in the first one.
The camera zooming in and hitting her. That's not exactly what we're talking about, but that will never not be funny to me.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, and I mean, even to your point, Aubrey, like you're talking about like the stuff that's not the focus of the scene. Like we theater people, we were seeing a local production last weekend, and one of our friends was one of the side characters, and the thing I had to give him so much credit for was I was drawn to you in the background because like I always called it background business. Your background business is so entertaining that like it almost draws away from the focus of what's supposed to be going on. And it's like when it's a comedy, which this show also was, it's like that's perfect. Like I love that stuff. Like
in a drama, you can't do that because then you're teetering on making it about you,
chewing on the scenery.
So, Hot Chick, 2002. I believe she plays another cheerleader in this movie alongside Rachel McAdams, like one of her friends, right?
Mm-hmm. Directed by Tom Brady.
Do it all.
Oh, really? Well, champions. He can direct comedies too. I'll tell you what.
I didn't rewatch all of it, but I did. It was actually on one of my free streaming channels, so I just happened to watch it. And this movie, every time I see it, it always makes me think of, I think it's a Family Guy bit where it's like, Rob Schneider is a traffic cone. And it's like, what? And it's like this whole like, Rob Schneider changes bodies with somebody. And it's like, it's so stupid. Uh-huh. I do remember seeing this as a kid, though, and thinking it was dumb but hilarious. And like, as an adult, I'm just like, no, it's just genuinely stupid.
It makes sense why she would be in it.
Yes.
Given kind of the run of stupid comedies Rob Schneider was on at that time. So it probably a solid paycheck, considering I'm guessing she didn't get paid a ton in her first couple of roles there. So make a little cash.
We often talk about time capsule movies, and this is one that I would be ashamed to have to talk about if a young person brought it up to me.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, I saw the Hot Chick. What the fuck were you guys on in 2002? I don't want to talk about
it. And then my follow-up question to them would be, why? Why were you watching? Yeah. Why did you watch what were you on now in 2026? It made you think that was a good decision.
I'd be like, it's not streaming free. You paid to rent this? Like, what are we doing here? All right. Well, going to back to the more serious side, she played Polly in a movie called May from 2002, another Sundance premiered film. So she doesn't do a lot of these types of movies, but I guess early on in your career, when you're trying to find your footing in the industry, you join this film, which is about a socially awkward vet assistant with a lazy eye and obsession with perfection descends into depravity after developing a crush on a boy with perfect hands. Sounds like some dark shit based on the stills I'm seeing.
I considered this movie because it was different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read the plot description and was like, nah, I'm not doing this.
I almost got to it. I just ran out of time. So yeah, May looks like a dark Sundance indie type film. I just kind of said I didn't get around to it because it feels like a fun one for her. Very different than some of the other stuff she's done. Speaking of different from other stuff she's done, Mike talked about earlier the difference between films and entertainment. I would say Lost in Translation falls firmly in the film category of being a movie that you can't forget once you've seen it. She plays Kelly alongside Giovanni Ribisi. So we talked about this movie very recently.
Yeah.
She plays an actress, if I remember correctly, right? She's in a couple scenes, I believe.
It's multiple.
I think she's fourth or fifth.
Fourth or fifth, right?
Yeah.
I remember her character. That's a film where you easily get lost when you're talking about Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson and Giovanni Ribisi, but not a bad one to have on your resume.
Yeah, confirmed. She's fourth billed in this.
Okay. In a couple scenes. I remember she plays an actress who's kind of like a, young actress who's just really focused on herself at that moment. If I remember correctly, I remember he was very enamored with her.
Great movie. I remember she's solid on it.
Mm-hmm. So after Scary Movie 3, back with Regina Hall, she did 4 episodes of Friends, which is highlighted in green because Aubrey's here and he's a Friends fanatic. So I assume he's going to talk about her role with twins that were adopted by Chandler and Monica.
Yes, she's in the final season, which is a pretty intense time to show up to the show. She's a part of a really intense storyline, which is Chandler and Monica, who can't have kids, are trying to adopt kids. She's the mother that they are trying to adopt from.
Deep.
The part that's funny is the adoption agency got their applications mixed up. And so they're labeled as like a doctor and a minister. So Chandler's a doctor and Monica's a minister. And so she thinks that they're these like super qualified, great people, and they're not. And so they get confronted with this information and they just play off that that's who they are. And so you get funny kind of bits where she's just like, who better to raise a kid than a minister? And Monica's just like, amen. And Chandler's like looking like this is bad the whole time. And then, they eventually tell her the truth and things go from there, but they get the kids from her. It's a funny little bit. She's not there playing a huge character. It's more of like a lot of the kind of guest spots on Friends. She is there to help provide opportunities for the main cast to be funny. And she does a pretty good job at that.
I love it. She's
a nice little addition of if someone watches Friends for the first time or is rewatching Friends, she is a nice little addition late in the season.
Yeah.
Or late in the show's run.
Probably capitalizing on some of her newfound star power with the scary movies and Hot Chick and all that stuff in the early 2000s. It makes sense.
To get that guest spot at that time, I don't think there was anything bigger on TV for her to get.
Yep. Last season. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Largest audience gap is Me, and it's the movie Waiting from 2005. We cover this on the Luis Guzman episode. She plays a character named Serena. Very excited to draw this. Let me tell you why. So I'm determined, gentlemen, to deliver a great review here because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit extra. And I'm planning to give that extra here.
Right.
Fun fact, this is one of 2 DVDs that were stolen from me in college. This and Without a Paddle. I don't know if that says more about me, the thief, the person who stole it, or my ability to keep track of DVDs. But I don't know if we will ever know who the real culprit is who stole my copy of Waiting. But whoever you are, you son of a bitch, just know I've lost sleep because of you. I could reorder it, but I won't. So we talked about this with Luis Guzman and the infamous Brain, the Batwing, and the Goat. I know if James was here, he would dance with me on these topics as well because I know how he feels about this movie. So setting the stage, it's a 29.75 on Rotten Tomato, right? So audiences really like it, critics not at all. I gathered over the years that the reason audiences really like it is because it's a microcosm for a lot of folks who worked in the service industry who say with pretty good accuracy that this movie reflects what it's like to work on the back end of a restaurant, especially in these chain restaurants. So I would say it's a film of our generation. If you're a millennial who saw this in college, there are a lot of memorable characters. And so like Ryan Reynolds as his typical sarcastic self in most of his lead roles. John Francis Daley as the trainee not being allowed to talk until he drops the goat at the end of the movie, which is still legendary. Luis Guzman as the jokester who teaches everybody the game. Andy Milonakis as a stoner busboy. What a moment in time. Shai McBride as the wise dishwasher therapist. Emmanuel Kirky as the hot lesbian bartender. David Koechner as a hopeless restaurant manager who just wants to hire Justin Long. Alana Ubach as the unhinged waitress who goes from 0 to 100 as fast as a human could possibly do it. Dane Cook as the worst human possible. And Anna Faris as the sassy female lead. That's a lot of characters to fit into your screenplay to give adequate time for people to remember. And notice I didn't really mention Justin Long or his love interest in the film. While that is a storyline, it's probably like the least important in my mind. Like Justin Long's story it's definitely a huge, I mean, the story's essentially told through his perspective of, getting a job offer to just go work in another restaurant and eventually deciding he's going to create his own penis showing game, which is quitting his job. But he is like one of the least memorable characters in the cast of really wacky and zany characters. So that's kind of the overarching piece of the movie for me. For Anna and her role as Serena, she's plays a very sharp, a lot of spicy line delivery. She's a key player in this ensemble piece. I don't think she does anything to make the movie worse, but she does have that scene where she absolutely eviscerates Ryan Reynolds for his ejaculation issues. You turned into the little engine that couldn't hold his load. Like her presence in that scene and how she is effectively able to deliver those lines, fantastic. And again, it's a huge. There's from an editing and screenplay standpoint, they have to cover so many different stories in this movie. And there are probably another 5 characters that get screen time that I didn't even mention, right? The most absurd part of the film, though, for me is the fact that Justin Long as Dean turned down a job at a steakhouse instead of staying at Shenanigans. Dude, you're going to get, like, they're bragging about how over a double shift, they're making like $67 in tips. That's wildly unsustainable for today. Like if they offer you a job at the steakhouse where you're going to make tips that might cover your 67 you made all day, go take the job. Go fucking do it. Just man up, do it. But my final thought is, regardless if you hate the movie or not, it has a special place in pop culture because it reinforces the cardinal rule as quoted by Ryan Reynolds: don't fuck with people who handle your food. And I've taken that with me ever since I saw this movie. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. But I'm always very polite to folks that handle my food because I recognize they may not be having a great day. And I don't need alfalfa sprouts in my steak. Which one of my favorite moments of the movie is when he's about to, how about some guacamole? And Luis Guzman goes, come on, man. I thought you were better than that. Mixing Mexican with continental. It's like, all right, how about a little garlic salt? Yeah. So anyways, I'll shut up now. That's my review of Waiting. I like Waiting. I always will.
I'm right there with you. It is it's an iconic millennial film. I remember watching it when I was in college with a bunch of my cousins who at the time were fresh out of college and were all in food service at the time. I will always remember the final scene of Alana Ubach standing up on the table and giving some extra Parmesan cheese to her customers. I just remember like my aunts and uncles just being like beside themselves. Like, wait, this is, and all of my cousins, all of us are just like, no, this is actually pretty spot on. Like, it's a little bit heightened for humor, but not really.
I know James isn't here, so James would mention the Ryan Reynolds statutory rape storyline is obviously awful and didn't age well at the time. Certainly has not aged well 20 plus years later.
Yeah.
So just calling that for what it is, not a great look by any stretch of the imagination.
As a non-millennial, I take from this movie is I don't think this story is told well without Anna Faris. She played a very grounded, straight character, and without that normal character in this movie, I don't think it would have been watchable. Not for me, at least.
Quite the endorsement. She's good. She's got the eyeliner, like the blue eyeliner. That's like very dark eyeshadow in this movie. It's just like the one thing that stood out to me watching her character.
Writer and director worked at multiple restaurants in the Tampa Bay area. Steak and Ale in Bradenton. I think it was a Bennigan's in Sarasota, and then another place in Orlando, and he based it off of all of those experiences.
Makes sense.
I like this movie. This is one of the white guy movies I liked from when I was younger. Because I like how you guys say this is a millennial classic, and it's like, sure, to like a very specific demographic. This is right there in that wheelhouse. And this is one of those. I love that. I'm a fan of the raunchy comedy genre, and this I think fits right. This is one of those. I like that. I kind of miss, that level of movie, the real carefreeness of just where they draw their humor from. Rewatching it, it's hilarious because it holds up in the terminology of like, do any of these jokes not make you feel gross now? I think very few of them hold up, but I still laughed quite a bit. I think it's all pretty funny. There are very strong segments of this movie that I hate, and I've grown to hate the older I've gotten.
Okay.
And what was it, 2005 when this movie came out?
Yeah.
I was here for a lot of this stuff because I didn't know. I was young and ignorant, and I hadn't learned what I needed to learn yet. We need to talk about Justin Long because this guy's the problem. His aspirations to get a better job.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing wrong in his life. There's nothing holding him back from doing better. But he is a perpetual victim of what? Why do I feel sympathy for this guy? Why am I supposed to feel sympathy for him? I don't. And Justin Long is God love him because I like him as an actor. There's so many of his characters from this time period that I can't with this guy. And he's one of them. Like, I don't feel bad for you, man. Like, fucking suck it up and go get a job. Like, there's nothing wrong with with your life. I don't want to hear this from you. I think it's fun to explain Dane Cook to people.
Fuck that do to you, man.
I'm gonna name my kid Optimus Prime.
It's just fun to have to try to explain that. I'm with Case though. I think Anna Faris actually works. She does a lot to hold pieces of this movie together in a way that are important. She is playing it mostly straight, but she delivers like straight up jokes in this.
Zingers, man.
And that's not something she does a ton of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up until this point, or I'd even say after. She doesn't deliver jokes a ton. And she does in this, and she kills it. I also think it's important to see her be normal.
Yeah.
Because if you just watch her comedies, this is the first time you would have seen her be normal. And even if you watch a handful of comedies after this one, this will still be the first time you see her be a normal person. And I think that's important because she looks great. She's beautiful. She doesn't sound as weird as she often sounds in movies, which I think is important. And she's plenty funny. I think Ryan Reynolds' character is absolutely atrocious. I hate this version of Ryan Reynolds. And this is why the new Ryan Reynolds, the older version of him I like. Waiting version is another thing. I classify him in the same character as Justin Long, but you're the fucking worst, dude. I got no sympathy for this guy at all. Like, figure it out. With all that being said, I think this movie's awesome and you should watch it because it's awesome in the sense it makes me laugh. It's fun. It's a good time. It's crazy. It's very much of a time. It's a solid time. Like, it's an easy one to put on and just watch and laugh at some stuff and be like, oh shit, we didn't care about a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Let me finish with two of my favorite moments on the rewatch. One, a more subtle one, is when John Francis Daly's watching the training video and Luis Guzman comes in there and he's got the goat out for a good 5 minutes waiting for somebody to open the door. And as soon as he abandons ship, no later than 4 seconds after he starts to abandon ship, someone opens the door. I feel like I've been in that position before where you're trying to catch somebody doing something and you spend way too fucking long committed to it. And as soon as you give up, that made me laugh. And then two, I think the moment that has made me, I was laughing over here thinking about it, is when Alana Obach goes back to drop off the dishes and Shai McBride says, Naomi, if you ever want to talk, like, I'd be happy to chat, happy to do that for you. And she goes, really? You do that for me? Really? How about you shut the fuck up and do the fucking dishes? Psycho babble bullshit. All right, that's Waiting. It's great. Go check it out. It's a time capsule of the mid 2000s, but have a great time if you want to learn what your millennial people are talking about. Or one movie here before our next review, and that's Just Friends from 2005. Another crossover with Ryan Reynolds.
Much better Ryan Reynolds character.
Oh God, yeah.
This movie is super important to me. I unequivocally love this movie. It's like near perfect. I wouldn't change anything. I absolutely adore this. It's just so funny. There's so much stupid stuff in here that works so good. And it's, for me, comedies work a lot better for me when they are attached to something that is a well thought out idea and they keep with it. And the idea that he was in this friend zone and he's trying to figure out how to get back with her, it's thought through. It's well done, in my opinion. I think it's pretty solid. So it works in all the different realms for me.
And Anna Faris plays like she's like a stuck-up actress, right?
Yeah.
Is that what she does?
Rock star.
She's a singer
Okay.
that he needs to sign to his label who loves him. And she is crazy. And it's amazing.
That's right.
Crazy in the best way.
I think they saw her in Lost in Translation and they're like, let's get that again, but just really goose it out.
Her forgiveness song in this will never not make me laugh. I hadn't heard it in probably 10 years and remembered it word for word as soon as she pulled out the guitar.
That's how I felt about his rap in Scary Movie 3. I was like, oh, I know this.
I'm a white boy, but my neck is red.
She's really big, outsized character. She does a ton of physical comedy. And just I think the instruction was go as big as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And she just took it to 1,000. And it fits because this movie kind of sporadically has people doing that. But like mostly everyone is kind of playing it straight. And there's just really silly things happening around them. It works really well.
Yep.
I think this movie I would legit recommend it to anybody. I love it.
Agreed.
I am not the stan that Aubrey is, but I will fully agree that it's an underrated, because it's like a low key good Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. You're right. It's a fun, very normal. Like the main cast is really strong. I think that's a big part of it. Is like Ryan Reynolds is a good, likable Ryan Reynolds. Amy Smart is perfectly cast as like kind of the girl.
She's great.
Girl next door. That's perfect for her. I love his pervy little brother that's like obsessed with Anna Faris.
Yep.
I think he's a great character. But then to your point, like Anna Faris, her character in this movie is so over the top. And it's like, I feel like Waiting was kind of like dipping her toe in. And then this was like going way, like just full cannonball. And I feel like it was kind of the start of this run of characters where she's like this piece of shit person who's trying to get their life back together. Or at least trying to be a better version of themselves. And so, it's kind of a role I feel like she's played for this kind of back half of her career. But at the same time, it's in this movie, it's a great fit for her. And she does a great job with it. Like you said, she's turned it up to 10. And if we have to tell you to turn it down, like we would rather do that than tell you to turn it up. And they basically just let her go wild. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's very great.
Two more things real quick. I think the Ryan Reynolds part of this works really well because the movie is making fun of him almost all of the time. And I think that's when he's at his best. Yeah. The movie's making fun of the douchey kind of character that he tries to portray, which I think he makes fun of most of the time on his own, but the movie is purposely making fun of it. And I think it works because of that.
Yeah.
You get to see her comedic mind a few times in this. And they're in subtle things. And that's what I really like about it. So there's this poster of her with like a chocolate covered banana. And it's supposed to be like this sexy poster because she's a pop star. And she's making a face in this poster that turns it from what would legitimately, I think, be a sexy poster to outrageous and fucking hilarious. And it's just her face. It's just the one thing she does in her face. And it makes it so funny. It tells you everything you need to know about this movie and this character. And I think it's a brilliant choice that I will give her the credit for because it's the subtleties of that. There's a balance that she has to strike because she is really beautiful. And I think when you play these things against each other, you can find a lot of humor. And she does a really good job of finding a way of diverting attention from how attractive she is to make something funny. And that's an example of it in this movie that works really well because the movie never acknowledges it in that way. The movie pretends that it's sexy, which is what makes it funny. And I think she lights this movie on fire in a really good way.
I didn't rewatch it, so I'm glad you guys spoke so eloquently about it.
Shame on you.
I didn't make choices.
This movie and Waiting were released a month and a half apart. And I think the studio is also exhibiting some trust in Anna Faris, having two movies come out this close together that she's one of the stars of.
That's fair. Yeah. We started with talking about how she's a pretty smart bet with money and projects. So
yeah,
put her in your movie. All right. Highest critic score is Brokeback Mountain, which she's in one scene of the movie. And so James isn't here to do the review of this alongside Michelle Williams. It's a phenomenal film, but she has such a small part in it that, if to stay focused on kind of our task at hand, she plays a character named LaShawn, who is the flirtatious, fast-talking wife of Randall Malone, who's played by David Harbour, who goes on a double date with Jack Twist. She appears in one scene. She's, according to AI, it says she manages to steal the spotlight with her oblivious, chatty nature while Jack and Randall exchange flirtatious glances across the table. But I didn't rewatch it, so I can't speak with full confidence on that one. Good movie. Great for your box office ratings on our end when you're in Brokeback Mountain. And I mean, I know Rigby's not doing this with us anymore, but I know Rigby freaking loves this movie.
I think this movie it's extraordinary.
It doesn't get the love it deserves because of the source material and the topic, right? Male audiences feel a certain type of way because homophobia was all the rage in the 2000s. Because
of its success and its popularity, it became a shorthand for a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the sad part about that, which there are many sad things about that, but one of the sad things about that is that this movie will never break away from that because it will always be the shorthand of that. You can never tell your male friend you're watching.
Yeah, stupid. Even that's an incredible film.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a truly extraordinary movie. It set out to do a lot of different things, and I think it accomplished those. But because we just suck so much as people, the shorthand of this has held it back in a way to where it didn't get more lives down the road that movies like this can often find.
Yep. Yeah, because masculinity has got dudes feeling the type of way. And to give full context too, of she's in Scary Movie 4 that did a year later, and they make fun of, this is one of the targets of Scary Movie 4 in the plot with Kevin Hart and Anthony Anderson's characters, of making fun of this movie. Not her role in it, but obviously making fun of the movie because it's part of the zeitgeist at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Please go check it out. Now, Smiley Face. Did anybody else watch Smiley Face from 2007? Danny Trejo's in the movie?
No.
Nope.
So I found this movie. I did watch this. I didn't really jive with it, but the more I researched it and learned about it, I realized probably why. So Smiley Face is a stoner comedy from 2007. Anna Faris is the lead. So the movie all goes through her. She's a stoner in the film. I've never lived a life of the marijuana. That's just never been part of my experience. The stoner lifestyle and comedy is not really appealing to me. So I watched this movie and I was like, Like I did look at the ratings. I figured maybe it's just like universally hated across the board. No, people love this fucking movie. And like we talked about with Waiting, with the restaurant world, people are like, for stoners, they love this movie because in their mind, it's very authentic to the stoner experience. And she's the lead in it, which is really interesting. So none of you guys didn't catch it, but as you research it and kind of poke around with the film, you'll see it's kind of split between audiences. This is definitely probably another audience gap type film, but stoners seem to really like this movie. I just find that fascinating. So lowest critic score is a movie called Mama's Boy from 2007. She plays Nora. So let's crowdsource this thing. We already did it once. We can do it again.
It's so bad.
It's a terrible movie, Aubrey. That's all you would have hated having to watch this.
Terrible movie.
It's got really good actors. It's got really good actors in it. And it's a lot of wasted talent, in my estimation. Diane Keaton, Jeff Daniels, Mary Kay Place, Adam Devine's in this, Simon Helberg, like Jon Heder. Like, this is a good cast. It should be a good movie. Not at all. It's terrible.
It's one of those situations where Hollywood's looking at Jon Heder and they looked and they said, God, Napoleon Dynamite was printing money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do something else where we have a quirky lead character. It's a weak story, weak writing. I didn't rewatch it for this episode because I remember how much I disliked this movie.
I did watch it for the first time and I regretted it. It made me very sad for her because I know they were probably like, silly comedy, let's get Anna Faris.
Who does she play in this? And is she in it a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's in it quite a bit. She plays the kind of the love interest in the movie, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a Jon Heder and Diane Keaton type experience, which is just like, why did Diane Keaton agree to this?
Well, sign me up.
Just
The romance I've been looking for.
This sums it up. The movie had a $15 million budget and it made $688,000.
Yeah, it's truly atrocious.
There was probably people walking out of the theater faster than they were walking in.
Oh,
That's a beautiful, beautiful observation. All right, let's talk about something that's we'll enjoy a lot more. House Bunny. We mentioned earlier, 2008, plays Shelley, plays a bunny that gets, Hugh doesn't know that she did not leave on her own accord. She was lied to.
Yeah.
And then she finds a sorority in need of some assistance, an identity, some might say. And she teaches these young ladies how to become popular again. I think I saw in an interview, she said she had like 100 different outfits that she went through on this production.
Oh my God.
Just an insane amount of outfit changes as the House Bunny.
I think it's really funny. This is a good, funny movie.
Yes.
Like, it's an easy one to watch. The bits are funny. It's not like a top tier comedy because I feel like it loses some of what is a good idea. It kind of just abandons it from like a plot and storytelling perspective, but it doesn't really matter because it's funny pretty much all throughout. And she is the driving force for so much of that comedy.
So much charisma.
So much.
She has so much charisma in this movie. When I think of a movie that really lets her like own the scene she's in and chew up the scenery, like The House Bunny is what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Where like I feel like Scary Movie, she wasn't given a lot of opportunities to be creative. It's very much like, here are the jokes written for you by very funny people in the Wayans brothers and others, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you could fuck that up for sure. But The House Bunny felt like the first time we really got to see her just play around with things as a lead.
I really enjoyed the movie. I thought she was super compelling in the lead.
She is.
I totally intended to not finish this movie. And I'm like, I'm really enjoying this movie. So
that's an endorsement.
Yeah, it was fun to watch because I did not anticipate her carrying this role as well as she did.
Yes, I agree. And like I've mentioned it a couple of times, like this is one of my favorite roles of hers. And I think it is because she just kind of owns this movie.
She does.
It's her and Emma Stone with a little bit of Kat Dennings. I mean, yeah, there's some other side characters in there. And it's like, honestly, like the love interest thing with Colin Hanks is like probably the least interesting part of the film. But at the same time, like, it's a good movie. Like, it's a good, entertaining film. Like, you guys have all said it. It's one of those movies that has no right to be as good as it is.
Yep.
And so it makes a lot of fun.
My favorite part that I totally forgotten about is the fact that the lead singer of All American Rejects plays a legitimate character in this movie. Tyson Ritter. I was like, oh, yeah, that's the whole thing.
I think if they wanted that side character, the Colin Hanks thing, to work better, they should have cast Chet Hanks. It might have landed better.
That would have been so chaotic.
I think it could have landed better if they gave it longer than 7 full minutes of runtime.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think it's kind of the key to the movie and the key to what it is that we're talking about. It doesn't work, but it actually kind of does because every time Anna Faris is in those bits, they're funny. Both of their dates are hilarious because she makes them funny.
Yeah.
The ending part works because she makes it funny. This movie is, it's actively bad when she's not in it. The few times that she's not in it, the movie's not good. She's such a star. And like, she's surrounded by stars, some of them as actors and some of them in other things. Like, these are legitimate famous people around her that are full of charisma. Yeah. And she is the total focal point. Like, I'm with you. This is the movie I think about when I think about Anna Faris. Because you think about like high prestige actors and you think about these movies that they make. Matt Damon has The Odyssey, and it's this movie where he's in so many frames or so many scenes and he's like in the whole movie. Or when Leo was in Wolf of Wall Street and he was in every scene of the movie. You think about these things and they're like these defining performances by these actors where they were given the keys to the thing where like, this will be good or bad based on you pretty much solely. This is like that for her.
Yeah.
Yep.
This movie is good and watchable because she is so charismatic and so funny. And she makes stupid bits funny.
Good.
Ideas that we've seen this version of this movie probably 100 times. Just now it's from a different perspective, but it's funny because it's her.
Yeah.
I will say the idea is good. The pitch is good. She makes it so much more funny and she's so interesting and compelling. It's like a true star-making performance. I can't believe I'm saying this about the house bunny.
And remember, it took her 25 times to get this movie produced. Right? No one wanted to make it. No one believed in it. Well, next year, she played Brandy in Observe and Report, which I have never seen, but I've read that there's quite the controversial date rape scene in this movie involving her and Seth Rogen, where Seth Rogen's character sleeps with a very intoxicated her character, which I don't think that's a great legacy to leave behind for you, Phil.
No.
I'm glad I didn't watch this now.
It was the hard-edged version of Paul Bart Mall Cop.
Mm.
And it had Ray Liotta in it, Seth Rogen, Anna Faris, and it was a really edgy, over-the-top version of a mall cop movie. Seth Rogen plays this guy who desperately wants to be a cop, and he's desperately in love with Brandy, who works at the perfume counter. And by the way, it's adorable how serious Anna Faris's character takes selling perfume at the mall. It's fantastic. And so Seth Rogen's character is in love with Brandy, or with Anna Faris' character, and Anna Faris obviously falls for Ray Liotta, and so then there's this Ray Liotta Seth Rogen battle the whole time.
Danny McBride, Michael Pena, Jesse Plemons. It's got good acting, good crew.
And Ray Liotta is fantastic in it because Ray Liotta plays it very straight, and he is annoyed as hell at Seth Rogen's character who's trying to be a cop. There's some interesting scenes. I remember watching it, and I do remember Anna Faris from that.
All right, well, next one here is taking her to the voice acting side. This is the first voice acting role, right? I think up to this point. She plays Sam in the 2 Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs films. Basically a lead voice acting role. And I'll toss it to Mike as our voice acting aficionado here today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's funny because I did make sure I rewatched these because I did note that I just like you just said that these were some of her first voice acting,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to kind of see it. And when it comes to voice acting, there are different kinds of performers, and she is definitely much more, at least in these films, she's just being herself.
Yeah,
there are times where she says things where you kind of sit there and go, oh. That's very clearly Anna Faris. That's fine because she does a good job. Like, I will say that because the character doesn't demand her to do anything more than that.
Yeah.
It works well. And then there's the character voice actors, which is more of like what the void I kind of try to fill.
Yeah. You change and contort so it doesn't sound like you.
Yes, you're disguising yourself as much. But like from an emoting standpoint and from a like just being yourself and trying to give a very authentic performance, she does a good job. And like it's based on a children's book. Like my wife was like very straightforward with me that it was like, if you're going to be watching a bunch of these movies, these are the ones I absolutely do want to be around when you're watching.
Fair. Welcome to our lives.
So funny. But it was one of those things where, because like I've seen the first one before and I'd never seen the second. And I just kind of did myself a little double feature one night while she was gone. And it was one of those things where, like I said, the character doesn't demand a lot of her, but she does a good job. Like emotions feel authentic. They feel real. Like she does a great job. As the movies as a whole, I understand why my wife didn't want to watch them. The first one especially to me is just so like, you're stretching like a 30-minute television episode into an hour and a half long movie is what it feels like. I will admit that I think for me, watching the second one, it may have been because it was for the first time, but the concept behind the second one of like food animals and like the food evolving and like and to be fair, the government overreach and secrecy around all of this.
Relatable.
Yeah, it was a much more relatable story. It was much more like just, like, I don't know. I found it more interesting as a storyline.
These movies are good. They're a good time. And also it's one of those random things that like I have a memory attached to them that makes them more fun. Like just a group of my friends in college, we saw these movies at a time that we made jokes about them a lot. They're both also food pun the movie.
Yeah.
So like if that's what you like, you could really have a great time with this. And I had a friend in college who like just spoke in puns pretty much the entire time. And it's just like it's like the mayor's trying to stop Flint from turning off the machine, and he throws a beat at him, and he's like, "Nice to beat you." And Flint jumps over it and goes, "That's a radish." And that shit's funny to me. I don't care. Like I think it's clever and it's funny. I mean, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller, so there's a level of cleverness to it all the way around. I agree. It's a good idea, probably stretched a little thin. I wouldn't really knock it there. I think it's a good idea on the idea of he has this machine that makes food out of water and he loses control of it. Mm-hmm. And then also it's a good idea of this young person who's almost stuck in time because of it's a mixture of the trauma of losing his mom and her being the only person that he felt like understood him. So he's kind of stuck in time in that way. Mm-hmm. So I think it's two good ideas that they tried to make one thing and was stretched maybe a little too thin. I like them. I think they're fun and they're a good time. I think Anna Faris lends to voice acting because her voice is good. She has a voice for voice acting, I think. So where I 100% agree, and I am nowhere near the expert you are, she's not given much to do. I find her interesting in the way of just when I hear her voice, I'm like, I should hear her in animation more. Mm-hmm. And I think she'd actually be great at it because she can do so many interesting things with her voice that if there was a more demanding role, she would kill it. But I find her voice welcoming.
I think that's all very valid. And I think to your point about like wanting to see her in more animation or hear her, I guess, rather in more animation. Yeah. That was one of the things I think when I was watching it, I sat there and I had that same thought of like, oh, I now understand why she has been doing so much voiceover work since this, because like she is very good at it. Like not every actor on screen is good at doing the voiceovers because it's just you have to emote through audio and it's not as easy as it sounds, but she does a really, really good job at it. So I totally get why her voiceover career kind of took off after this because you're right. She's kind of built for it.
Mike, when I see her voice work after, I'm like, yeah, she's a natural. But somebody that's from that world, can you tell when somebody is kind of a natural?
As you're saying that, I was like closing my eyes and thinking about it, where it's like, oh, I don't know if I've actually watched any of her parts with like my eyes closed, because that's usually kind of how I would judge that. But I think it's the House Bunny. You know, we kind of talked about how that was a very big moment in her career and kind of getting to spread her wings.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the movies, at least up to this point, maybe just Friends, but like really the House Bunny, if you close your eyes and you sit there and it's like, if you saw this as an animated film, it would still she would do a really good job at it.
And I was going to ask, she did 3 of the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. She was in The Squeakquel, she was in Chipwrecked, and I forget the name of the other one.
Yeah.
Did quite a bit more there in the 2010s.
And she was in a TV show.
Oh, okay. That might be what I was missing.
Yeah, I mean, those voices are so modulated, like...
Yeah.
It's just... yeah, because I remember watching Chipwrecked for Tudyk, and...
Yep.
Yeah, it was lowest critic score for Alan Tudyk.
It was that was an interesting one. And but yeah, like especially for the chipmunks in general, yes, but like the female chipmunks especially, I just feel like they're so modulated. It's like,
yeah.
Again, she's very talented, and this is not a slight on her. It's more of just like with those kind of movies, you could get anybody who's decent and they would probably sound almost exactly the same.
You're going to auto-tune all of them, so it doesn't matter. Pick somebody who could read the lines.
Yeah.
I did rewatch Frequently Asked Questions About Time Travel. She played Cassie alongside Chris O'Dowd. She has a big role in this movie. Did anybody else rewatch or has seen FAQs about time travel?
Fortunately, I did not get to this one.
Basically, Chris O'Dowd and his 2 friends, they're obsessed with the concept of time travel. They're sitting at a bar one night, and then weird stuff starts happening around them. And they figure out they're stuck in this weird time loop in this bar, and they're trying to figure out how the hell to get out, and things only get worse. Chris O'Dowd has an experience with this incredibly beautiful woman played by Anna Faris, who's like, I'm from the future. I'm here to investigate this time gap thing. And it's so surreal. He's not even sure it really happened. And then all this wild stuff starts happening. And he's like, he finally basically tries to track her down and pull her in to be like, what the hell is going on? So that's the concept of the movie. Three guys who are nerdy about time travel get stuck into a time travel situation that is not going well for them. And so she just plays somebody from the future, essentially. So not a bad role. It's a fine enough movie with Chris O'Dowd. Would be my take on it. Now, a movie that I really like that people don't is Take Me Home Tonight from 2011. Before we get into the Chris Pratt stuff, I like Take Me Home Tonight. I enjoy the movie. I enjoy the characterization. I might be alone on this one, but this is a movie I will rewatch if it comes on. I like Teresa Palmer. I like him. Chris Pratt is a piece of shit douchebag in the movie, and he does that well. And what's his face? Dan, what is his last name?
Vogler?
Yeah, I think he crushes his role as the friend who's just making all the worst choices. So I like Take Me Home Tonight. I'll stop there. I'll toss it out to you guys to see if you agree or disagree.
It's not a movie I would say I would rewatch all the time, but it's definitely one that like I didn't necessarily forget she was in it, but it was like, oh yeah, this is in her list. And it's like, yeah, this is a good.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, like, yes, Dan Fogler is also my favorite part of this movie. And this was, I think, the movie where when he was announced as Jacob Kowalski in Fantastic Beasts, and I was just like, wait, what? Huh? It was like this and Balls of Fury were the two movies I thought of.
Yeah.
And it was just this thing where I went, no. And then you see him in that and you go, like it, but it's like one of those things where it's like
he could have been the guy. Yeah, he could have been the guy to do it.
You figure out that it's like, oh, he's one of those dudes, like kind of like Danny McBride to an extent, where it's the, you know, like they are so good at being so over the top and so ridiculous that you forget that they have like actual chops under there and can like be toned down, but still like be comedic still, obviously, but like it can be very relatable and real, and it's kind of fun. But yeah, he's for me, he's the highlight of that movie. But it's a movie that I feel like gets a lot of hate. I'm just kind of like, no, this is,
and it might be a bad movie, but I like it, so I don't mind it.
I'll give you some hate. No, this movie's fine. I don't have a problem with a ton of this movie. It's fine. I liked a lot of aspects of it, but there's a couple of things that really held me back. One, everything I said about Justin Long, Topher Grace in this movie. It's one of those things where like I don't want to make this too serious of a point, but it's one of those things where like, especially as I get older, it makes it really hard for me to watch movies like this, because Topher Grace is this victim of all of this pressure, and he's having such a hard time just making a choice on what he wants to do with his life. And he fucking graduated from like MIT or some shit like that. Like, I don't want to hear this from you. Like, you have everything you need, and you're like, oh, but my life is so hard. I struggle with that. I really do. And it's like, I get it, man. Everybody has struggles, and we all go through stuff, and everybody's struggle is different. I get it. But you want me to sympathize with this man? It's tough. It's a little bit easier with Topher Grace, because I actually like Topher Grace a lot. My second issue is I don't love how they handled his situation with Teresa Palmer, who, side note, I like her in this movie a lot, and she looks insane.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, unreal.
How they handled that in this movie, I don't necessarily like, because him lying and having sex with her,
I mean, he's a scumbag. He's a scumbag.
I think is a much bigger offense than he acted like it was in this movie.
Oh, 100%.
And the resolution is essentially him being like, look, man, you would never have been with me anyways. And like, wait a minute. No, that's not like.
Oh, she's rightfully pissed.
Yeah. So her getting with him in the end made me a little bit mad. But this, I think the movie's fine. I watched it. I don't dislike my time watching it. I'd probably watch it again. It's a perfectly solid movie. It does the 80s stuff kind of fun.
You don't understand because you've never ridden in the ball before. And you don't understand the prestige that comes with riding the ball down the hill. He's lucky he survived dropping in that fucking pool, by the way. He should have died in the ball.
He should have died. He wasn't strapped in.
Yeah.
The fact he was able to get out is a miracle. This movie should be called Miracle at the Bottom of the Street. That's what it should be called. And Anna Faris she plays a woman who's in a relationship coming out of high school, who's just in it for the convenience, but really wants to break out of it. And I think it's a very relatable experience for a lot of couples who are together in high school, but one wants to stay home and one wants to venture out. And Chris Pratt's douchebag self lies to her about the college letter. So like her character she's playing is very relatable, especially in the 80s when it was even harder to go to a school on the other side of the world. So like I thought she played that well.
Those parts were my favorite parts. I want to watch that movie. Well, you give me a full 90 minutes of that movie, I want to watch that movie. That's a good one.
You're just not going to get as many laughs, unfortunately. Less coke from Dan Fogler in that version, that's for sure.
Damn.
I think she's good in this, and it was nice to see her play a character like that.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit different. The Dictator plays Zoe, the vegan running the collective case laughed. So I know you've seen this Sacha Baron Cohen movie.
She's fantastic, by the way. Short brunette haircut and just like
she plays it so straight. Allison Burgers.
She is leaning into the stereotypes that her character is based on, but she plays it so straight, and I'm not a big Sacha Baron Cohen fan as an actor in movies. I enjoy his TV projects more.
Ali G guy, huh?
Ali G.
She's really good in this and plays off of him pretty well.
How she ever trusted him to run her grocery store is absurd.
Just makes no sense.
It's an absurd premise, but the movie makes me laugh every time I watch it. When he's delivering the baby at the end of the movie, and he goes, "It's a girl. Where's the trash can?" I can't fucking do it. And his little quips the whole time about her being a little boy just it's not a movie I'm going to go around saying with my chest that I love, but it makes me laugh every time I watch it.
I'll say with my chest, I love this movie. It was fun. This is the first time I've seen it. I was a first time watch.
Whoa!
I'm not going to say that this is going to be like one of my favorite movies or anything like that, but I had a blast watching it. And it's like Sacha Baron Cohen has the ability to do something incredibly stupid, but at the same time, something really smart.
Yep.
There's a lot of really good observations in this movie.
The whole Jason Moonzaka's character is so good the whole time when he realizes everybody he's ever offed, they just send off somewhere else, and they have a whole collaborative.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
We're in the helicopter, and he's like, ah!
It's so funny.
That was a funny subplot.
And the whole speech he gives at the UN when he's like, imagine what you could do if you were a dictatorship, and he explains just the state of U.S. political affairs. It's so spot on.
There's so many dumb things that are happening. It's a great disguise for a bunch of really smart and clever observations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I personally
agree.
I like political comedies. I like political satires. I really like those things. And I really like them when it is clear the person is smart enough to take swipes at all of the right things.
Yep.
So the fact that this movie makes a concerted effort to make fun of Anna Faris's character in a lot of different ways, I think is really smart.
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. One, comedy should go everywhere. But two, there's always something to criticize, I think, internally, or even on something that you might agree with or something you might find like, oh, I would be more aligned with this person and their ideas. There's still somewhere to point a criticism or to make an observation. And he does so many good ones. Her lifting up her arms to him going, oh, and just being like, customer just left this Nair and this razor up here. Anybody want to use it? Like, it's so stupid.
The fact he spends the whole movie trying to keep his country from adopting democracy is so funny, of how it puts you in a place of trying to empathize with this man that's like, what? Free and fair elections?
And then they do it, but it's not at all. You see the tank roll up and everyone gets into
All right, I'm glad that you guys enjoy this movie, because I will never not laugh when this movie comes on. And Anna Faris is great, man. She's a great part of this film.
She's so good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where, like, I give her a lot of credit for standing there and not laughing.
Yeah.
Right?
Because Sacha Baron Cohen's going all the way. Like, it's not, they're not taking breaks in between scenes and he's having a good time. Like, he's all the way in.
He stays in character the whole time.
And for her to be able to do that, impressive.
For Anna Faris, I loved how her response to all the outlandish shit he would say and do wasn't to get mad. It was like she acted like it was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was her choice or the director's choice, but whatever it was, that was a brilliant way to take the sting out of some of the crazy stuff that was being said and done.
It's satirizing the overly trustworthy, progressive person who's just too naive for their own good, right? Like,
yeah.
Before we switch off this, we have to just talk about the simplicity of him having his beard shaved off and no one knows who he is. I consistently found that hilarious.
You're not the real leader. What does he say when he starts to chant?
Like, that's all it took, and no one knew who this guy was. It's a hilarious.
He's an illegitimate leader, and that's how she like vibes with him because she thinks he's. Oh man, I'm glad you watched that, Aubrey, and enjoyed that because
me too.
That's a favorite. All right, hate to kill the mood, but we went from a very good comedy to one of the worst movies ever made.
Oh,
movie 43. Remember, Take Me Home Tonight? She met Chris Pratt at a table read in 2007 for that, and they got married in 2009. Got divorced in 2017. They have a son named Jack who was born premature. So I know she got like super involved in that space philanthropically because of their son's birth. And then she joins her husband, her hubby, in a segment, movie 43. You guys remember her segment with Chris Pratt? Remember the romance that's being sparked in that? Mike, do you recall the segment?
I do not. It's a movie I try to forget.
Well, us too. Do you see how many fucking names are listed in the show notes next to that movie? We've covered so many at this point.
Yeah.
9.
So if you're wondering, this is the setup for their scene. It's just the two of them in their bed. She's feeling very romantic, and she wants him to poop on her for their anniversary. So Chris Pratt's character does what any man would do and start to eat all sorts of terrible shit, take some laxatives to kind of speed this process up so he can really give her the night that she's always dreamed of. And the night it's going to happen, he's ready. Like his system, it can't wait any longer. He's like, all right, we ready to do this? And she's like, no, let's slow it down. Let's be romantic. And meanwhile, he's about to shit his pants. And the film, they get into a fight, and the bit ends with them going outside. He gets hit by a car, and when he gets hit by a car, poop splatters everywhere. And that's them talking about romance and how she loves him. So judge accordingly for your Munson meters on that one.
Oof.
And if you're Kristen Bell, Leslie Bibb, Richard Gere, Chloe Grace Moretz, Chris Pratt, Dennis Quaid, and Sean William Scott, you're dead to us by being in that movie as well.
If we ever do Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet, I've never done this before, but I'm going to automatically deduct points from them because from what I have uncovered through research is those are the two
that the names tied to it. Yeah.
Yep. They did a short feature, and it was actually one of the least offensive ones. And then all these other actors heard that those two did it.
Halle Berry as well, with the most offensive skit of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing it out there. All right, but let's talk about something a little bit better. Her run as Christy on 152 episodes of the show Mom with Allison Janney from 2013 to 2020.
Yeah.
Very well reviewed show, and I'm sure it made her some good money over 7 years.
This is probably her biggest hit from critics and fans combined.
I would agree with that. I think if you're trying to find the thing that's like got the right mix for both critics and audiences, this is it. I know my mom loved this show, and I would watch it with her. Again, this is when I said earlier something about her having that kind of being almost typecast in a sense of being those like pieces of shit who are trying to get their life back together. Like this is one of the roles that I thought of. Obviously, she played it for 7 years, so that's big in the brain.
Yep.
But no, her and Allison Janney, like they had great chemistry. Allison Janney is a phenomenal actor.
Star. Yeah.
Yeah.
The two of them together, like that's you can have somebody who's really, really good and then somebody who's not, and it's not going to be good. But like the reason that show worked is because the two of them worked very well.
Yep.
So like it's a good show, and like they both fulfilled their roles very well, and they worked very well.
Last review, largest Critic Gap. I give it a year. We'll split this between Case and Aubrey since they both watched this and prepped for this. You guys want to give us the high-level overview of her role as Chloe?
2013 movie, written and directed by Dan Mazer. It is romantic comedy of sorts about a couple who just gets married, and within the first year of their marriage, they discover that their marriage is not great and they don't love it. So Anna Faris plays a friend / kind of former love interest of one of our main characters, played by Rafe Spall. And I love her performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Because she plays it straight here. There's comedy happening in this movie, but she is not really at the center of it. It's kind of happening around her. I think she plays a very understated, impactful character. One that I love because it's intriguing. And so in a movie like this, I find it more and more impressive that we can have a character on the side that I want to know more about, that I want to see come on the screen, that I want to see the main character end up with, because I find her compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And she does all of that with, a decent amount of screen time, but not a ton of attention placed centrally on her because the story's not about her. I think this might be the best performance I see her give.
Wow.
Really?
In a movie that I absolutely hate.
I was about to say, this is a terrible film.
I like romantic comedies, so I like that. I like that this movie is trying to be subversive in how it goes about romantic comedies. What I hate is I felt like it was written by a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their problems as presented are not things that you get divorced over. Like, he doesn't take the trash out the way that she wants him to, and she doesn't remember the lyrics of songs, are really the main things that are given as reasons that they shouldn't be together anymore. And I think it's just absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And the fact that the movie ends in that way with the joyous, idea that they're going to get divorced because they realize they love other people because they were so unhappy together over really trivial things, I think is atrocious, and I hate that part of it. While I find a lot of the outskirts of the movie to be really interesting, including most of the performances, Anna Faris being one of the bigger ones.
I personally don't like rom-coms, and I found this to be one of the more enjoyable rom-coms I've been forced to watch on this podcast. I didn't say it, so it doesn't mean I like it.
Low bar.
There is an interesting twist here in that we're led to believe the main two characters are the couple that gets married, and we're watching their relationship disintegrate. And then as the movie goes on, Anna Faris and Simon Baker's character kind of take over as the main characters. And the thing I really enjoyed about Anna Faris's character is, as the movie was going on, I was starting to root for her, and I wanted her to win at the end.
She's very likable.
Very likable. And I thought the scene that turned it around for me to make her, where I started rooting for her, was the equally humorous and awkward threesome scene.
She's rolling around with them. Yeah.
That scene is so good. And she is the only one talking. That scene is so good.
Uh-huh.
Very funny. After that, I'm like, I like her. I want her to win. Dan Mazer, who was the writer and director on this, he was also the producer of Dictator.
Yeah.
And does a ton of stuff with Borat.
Makes sense. I partially hate this movie because it's one of those ones where they try to make Anna Faris seem ugly. Like, I think they go out of their way to try to make her seem average. And it's like, come on. Like, kind of smokescreen movie magic you're trying to pull over her.
It still looks great, though.
I also enjoyed the marriage counselor. He's literally just trashing the guy to the wife the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Rose Byrne is like, it's not that bad. She goes, it is. I know. You can't say, but it is. So I enjoyed that bit.
I was lost in the first scene, and I like Stephen Merchant sometimes, but his character shtick in the first scene at the wedding, I was like, all right, I don't know. It really was off-putting with the shit he was saying as the best man.
Yeah.
Every time he opened his mouth,
yep,
he was the worst. And it was never funny.
Yep.
But the thing I'll give the movie credit for is that the one thing I liked is at the end, Rose Byrne looks at him and goes, I never have to fucking.
Yep.
And just
that's
away.
one redemption arc part of it. Keep in mind, he's the other half of that terrible segment from movie 43 with Halle Berry, by the way. That's Stephen Merchant. So 2013.
Oh, yeah.
Well, rounding it out between 2013 and now, a lot of sequels. She's in a lot of different sequels and extra films we've already talked about. She published a book in 2017 called Unqualified, which I know Case loves an author. Loves.
Doesn't she do a podcast of that same name?
Yep, she does a podcast as well.
Yep.
I mean, between mom, she is a mom. She's doing there's a lot of stuff going on with her child. And so voice roles, sequels, right? Like the reliable stuff for your schedule. She doesn't have to work as much as she once did. Her and Pratt got divorced in 2017. And then she started dating Michael Barrett, a cinematographer, in 2017. They got married in 2021, still together. So good for her. Finding love, you do your thing. And then she's done a couple other movies in there. So The Estate, she played Savannah alongside Toni Collette, which I know she was excited to work with Toni Collette, and who wouldn't be, because Toni Collette's freaking brilliant as an actress.
Oh.
Go check out that Munsons episode.
That movie, by the way, like that's the last movie I watched before we recorded the episode, just because it was something that was on, and it's like that cast is stacked. It's again one of those movies where you go, oh, there's a ton of really good people in this, and it's not a good movie, but like,
yeah,
I will say David Duchovny's character is so creepily awful in that movie.
He can do that.
It's like endearing almost, where I was like, every time he talked, my wife and I would look at each other and be like, he's disgusting. And then literally 3 seconds later, I'm like, but he's like my favorite character.
We've covered a movie case with David Duchovny where he plays kind of a shitbag like that. It's You People with Jonah Hill. He plays the dad, Jonah Hill's dad, who's just like a not so subtle racist white dad. That's where I remember him from. Okay.
In 2018, she did the Goldie Hawn remake of Overboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've ever covered two actresses that remind me of each other as much as these two do.
Oh,
really?
That's fair.
I was very pleased to do some research and see that Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell signed off and endorsed Anna Faris playing.
Oh, wow.
Movie, even though it was a role reversal.
Yeah.
I have a big similarity in my head of Anna Faris and Goldie Hawn.
Both funny.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I've got a different comparison I'll talk about in my Munson Meter that I read about that I've kind of used as my litmus test.
I'm glad you mentioned Overboard Case, just because it's one of those movies where we watched it and I was just like, man, the original is so much. But you're right. Like once you mention like her and Goldie Hawn having like that similarity with one another, like you're so right. Like I fully agree with you. The one thing I was going to say before we got to her most recent film that came out this summer is that I was surprised that of all of the people that I've done, which I'm not surprised Alan Tudyk is the other person on this list, but I'm surprised that of all the people that I've talked about on this show, she's the first one to have a named character on my favorite Disney cartoon.
Phineas and Ferb. Yep.
I love me some Phineas and Ferb. I was just shocked by that because like Alan Tudyk has done some additional voices and stuff like that for it, but she's the first one to do a named character, and it's like, wow, like they bring everybody on that show, and it's a fantastic show. But at the same time, I was like, oh, kind of. I was like, oh yeah, she's on one of the new episodes. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, 2025. Anything else we want to toss out about the latest scary movie? Aubrey and I already talked about that we didn't particularly enjoy it. There's some funny moments, but I appreciate the Wayans coming back in and feeling like they can kind of own the conclusion of the film.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to actively seek to go rewatch that movie anytime soon. I would rather watch the OGs. Anywho, Case, what do we got for top performances?
I found on Screen Rant from April 6, 2025, Anna Faris's 10 best movies and TV shows ranked. We hit every one of them.
Wow. Oh, shout out to us. And you guys probably peppering it overboard at the last minute because that might have made the list, right, Case?
You mean you'll have to guess in order to find out?
Maybe I shouldn't do that to ruin our streak.
I mean, I wouldn't, but you can if you want.
Having seen that movie, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, just feeling the waters there. Scary movie. Original.
Scary movie comes in at number 9.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'll do The House Bunny.
The House Bunny comes in at number 6.
Interesting.
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation comes in at number 2.
Makes sense.
I'm voting with my heart here. Just Friends.
Just Friends is not on the list.
Low-hanging fruit, Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain is number 3.
Oh, it's got
I was going to say Mom.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Mom is indeed number one.
Yeah.
Dictator.
The Dictator sneaks in at number 10.
Give me Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
There you go.
Cloudy's Chance of Meatballs comes in at number 5.
Are there any dupes, like sequels on here, Case?
Nope.
Take Me Home Tonight, because I felt like I was too mean about that earlier.
Take Me Home Tonight is not on the list.
That's not a shot.
Maybe I wasn't.
Observe and Report.
Observe and Report is not on the list.
Smiley Face, Case. Put it on the board.
Smiley Face is not on the list.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Oh.
Waiting.
Waiting comes in at number 8.
Really? All right. Redemption for Waiting. All right. What about May from 2002?
All right. May, The Surprise for Me comes in at number 4.
Yeah, there it is. I should have watched it.
Missing one, and it's a TV show, and it's the reason I got confused when Aubrey suggested Just Friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
Number 7 rounds out the list at Friends. I mean, that's a pretty damn good top 10 list.
Give us top 5 again.
Top 5: Mom, Lost in Translation, Brokeback Mountain, May, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
And that doesn't even have Scary Movie in the top 5. I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty disappointed Lover's Lane didn't make the top 10, but that's just me.
I was just thinking it. Lover's Lane. Somebody might have missed out on it.
No. I mean, Anna Faris didn't even put herself in that movie. So
that's a valid point, my friend. Valid point. All right. Thanks, guys.
yeah, man.
All right. Let's get into the Munson Meter. What we do, we rate every actor on a scale of 0 to 100. Could be based on a variety of factors, such as longevity, project choice, pop culture impact, acting range, awards, footprint, other talents, personal life, comedic chops, box office success, and anything else that matters to us as Munsons. And Aubrey's going to kick us off.
So this was a lot of fun because I like Anna Faris, and I would have told you from the jump that I like Anna Faris. What I learned is I like Anna Faris a lot more than I originally thought that I did.
Yeah.
There is a quality that she has aside from her just like kind of charisma that is like welcoming. There's something about her that I just enjoy watching. And so it's the type of thing where she shows up and you smile. And I think for a comedian, that's a really good trait to have because it's disarming. So now I'm interested in whatever it is you want to do. So roles that I would typically not like for my own personal taste, like her role in Just Friends, are ones I love. And I think in part because of that. And so getting to explore that is awesome. Comedians are always tough because it is a skill within acting that I do believe is underrated. We see a lot of versatility in her ability. She can play the straight person. She can be the center of actual joke delivery. She can do physical comedy. She can do bits. She can really kind of round out what it takes to be a comedian. And that is massively impressive. So when I'm judging like straight up and down acting ability, it's nice to see all of the different things she can do. Being able to watch I Give It a Year is an interesting test case because it's just unlike anything else she's ever done.
Yep.
And it's the closest I get to seeing her do a traditional drama for like a major character. And so that's great. And it's a great bit of information for me to have. But unfortunately, there's just not a ton of other stuff outside of comedy. And while she does good as a lead and she does good in supporting, I would like to see other different genre type things. I'd like to see her be able to hold different emotions, to be able to convey a lot of different things at one time. More complexity is something I would want to be able to see. And I do believe she has that in her.
Yeah.
I just wish I would have been able to see it more. And so for as much as I love Anna Faris and I would consider myself a fan, I can't go too high. So I have her at a 67.
All right. Case.
Personally, I think she's grossly underrated as an actor. I think there's 2 reasons that the Scary Movie franchise is endearing and has lasted 26 years. And that's incredible writing. And I think it's the performance of her and Regina Hall. For Anna Faris specifically, because there's a lot of scenes where she is almost action for action doing what Neve Campbell did. She's conveying it and she's performing it in a way that it doesn't seem corny, but yet you can still tell it's parody. And to me, that seems very difficult to do. And she does it well. I think she can do a lot, but she just hasn't, which gets me into the biggest problem with her. I think on an emotional level, she's made great choices. And I think she's made choices of projects that appeal to her. But from a more critical and quality standpoint, I wish she made better decisions. But that being said, I think one of the best decisions she has made is the TV show Mom. I mean, one of the biggest reasons that show is such a hit is because of Anna Faris. Honestly, I was completely caught off guard by how strong her box office numbers were on the financial side of things.
Yeah.
That carries a lot of weight with me because I do get into the data a lot. Like I said, she does remind me of Goldie Hawn, but I do think Goldie Hawn, having had more time in her career, landed more range and had more of an impact. And I'm hoping that Anna Faris has that. That being said, she's done a lot. I was very indifferent towards Anna Faris coming into this, and coming out of this episode, I am a fan of Anna Faris, and I really hope we get to see her in, I think Aubrey used the right word, complex roles that showcase what I really think she's capable of doing. And with all that being said, I'm going to give her an 80.
Wow. All right. Mike, our guest Munson.
Honestly, I think, man, I'm going to sound like a broken record compared to these two guys, because they kind of hit the nail on the head, where it's just, she's a very endearing performer. She's someone I've always kind of been a fan of, not just because she's beautiful, but because she is entertaining and humorous, has great comedic timing. I think we said at the beginning of the episode, like, you know, she picks low budget comedies and just, you know, kills them. I love a dumb, stupid comedy, and she's kind of the queen of that. I give her some bonus points for, you know, making the very seamless transition to voiceover work. The fact that the house bunny, you know, learning kind of the story behind it, and just her perseverance behind it, and how much she really does carry that movie. She's proven that she has star power. She may not be an A-lister necessarily, but I definitely think she's a household name. Most people know exactly who she is. But I do agree that her biggest detriment is her range. It's not that she doesn't have it. It's that it's just she hasn't been able to show it off yet. And I feel like maybe as she gets older, you know, as her kids get older, maybe she has a career resurgence. Like, that seems like it might be the perfect time for her to kind of flex those muscles a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think Case was a little high. I think Aubrey might have been a little low. And so I'm actually not going to quite split the difference, but I am going to give her a 70. The extra bonus point between splitting the difference is because she was on Phineas and Ferb.
There you go. Hey, everybody's got their own scale. All right, I'll round us out here. Her ROA numbers genuinely shocked me when Case went through that, partially because I didn't stick around long enough in the app to see the numbers ahead of time. So truly learning in live time as we record. But as a core premise for evaluating her, I read numerous critics say she's a modern day Lucille Ball.
Ooh.
And I thought that was a really interesting metric for me. So I read that early on in the research. And so I was kind of using that to test my hypothesis of, is she Lucille Ball in today's day and age when you think about kind of what she brought to television and comedy within that kind of that form of entertainment. I thought that was an interesting dynamic. So that's why I really focused on like how she's funny. Really, she's not really one that makes me laugh. A lot of times when I've been laughing this episode, it's other people saying things or saying things to her in her movies. It was very rarely was it her making me laugh, but she certainly has a skill set of timing, of reacting as a straight person to other people. So I think that nuance is important. I got to give her credit for being the anchor of a 6-film horror parody franchise, 5 because she was in only 5, but it's beloved by fans. That's worth something, if nothing else. The whole Chris Pratt thing, I'm not even sure I won't even want to touch that because that's just like a weird situation. And I think it's mostly because of poor choices he made than anything else, of her just trying to be a mom and be a partner and do all those things. So I'm going to kind of avoid most of that. But her pop culture's through the roof. I agree. I think most people know who Anna Faris is. Her awards footprint is non-existent. She's won practically nothing. Her project range is pretty limited. We've seen a few times when she's gone out in different types of things, but she stays in her pocket. I'll give her an extra couple points for making the best of her golden opportunity. for having great comedic timing when called upon, and coming from a family of sociology nerds, love that. Obligatory negative points for movie 43. So you can see my scales just like going up and down like wild right now. The meter's moving. And since James isn't here, I feel a special pressure because James and I are usually the lowest raters of the Munson crew for actors. And usually it's like James and I kind of go back and forth who's lowest. So I have to like embrace the spirit of James. If 90-minute movies and having a shit ton of them were a part of my scale, she would crush, but it's really not, unfortunately. So I love the scores you all gave her. I'm going to stay tight to my rubric and how I evaluate with all things, and she's getting a 58 from me. Ooh. All right. So with that gives Anna Faris a 70 on the dot, which ties her with Danny Trejo for 85th overall, puts her just behind Nia Longzis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and just ahead of Oliver Platt and Allison Brie. Thoughts on that stack?
Danny Trejo is an interesting one.
Yes.
I would say I would never complain about being tied with Danny Trejo in anything. But when you talk about who's ahead and who's behind, I go, okay, that's a weird grouping. But all right. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I kind of love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? As I look at them in writing, Nia Long, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anna Faris, Danny Trejo, Allison Brie,
and Oliver Platt.
There's a through line there. I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I would 100% watch a movie with that cast.
Absolutely. 100%.
100%.
Uh-huh. You might get it one of these days. And if it does, we're going to laugh about this moment. So, Aubrey, what you got coming?
So I see 4 things. One is in pre-production. It's the only one of the 4 things she has coming that's in pre-production. It's called Leapfrog. The other 3 movies are in post-production. One is I Object. It says it's an animation movie, but I think it's one of those. It's similar to Marcel the Shell with Shoes On in terms of its animation.
Oh.
Where some things are real and some things are animated, but they are meant to look real. She is in this with Carl Urban.
Jermaine Clement.
Like an animation fantasy. I'm interested. But the other 2 are where I'm most interested. Spa Weekend comes out in like a month. So it would have been nice to see this before that before this podcast, because I'm actually really interested in where her career is going to go. Because I think a part of the reason why she's been gone is, well, she hasn't been gone that long because Mom ended in 2020. But part of the reason why she's been gone is because I feel like they're not making her types of movies anymore. In Spa Weekend, which is 3 friends go on a spa weekend that descends into chaos when their train wreck friend joins, leading to hilarious consequences. It sounds like a movie we've all seen, but it sounds like an opportunity to see what she still has and what she can bring to this. Isla Fisher, Leslie Mann, those are the big ones that I know, but I'm most excited for Primetime.
Yes, absolutely.
I did not know she was in this.
Yeah.
Did not know she was in this.
I did not either.
But I am so fired up for Primetime, which if you don't know what Primetime is, it takes place in 2006. It's about the To Catch a Predator host, Chris Hansen, setting out to make television history. I cannot wait to see what she's doing in that movie and what she can bring, because this could be the exact thing I was looking for.
Yep.
And that movie looks really good.
She's one of the few with a character name.
Yeah.
I think it's his wife. She plays his wife, Mary Joan Hansen.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
Oh,
Interesting.
Quite a bit.
So she's got an eclectic variety of things coming, which is exciting for a lot of reasons in terms of where her career can go, what she's going to be able to do going forward, and what hits. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, speaking of eclectic, we've got for our next episode, Monty Grohl's coming back on August 20th. He was with us for Sam Rockwell, Chris Hemsworth, Haley Steinfeld, John Slattery, Adam Driver, Aidan Gillen, and Greta Gerwig. And the eclectic list that is on the wheel are Jimmy Simpson, Kareena Kapoor, Will Patton, Michael Chiklis, and Kang Ho Song. What do we love or hate about that list?
that's a list.
That is a list. Isn't Matty on the East Coast?
Matty is in Boston, yeah, in Massachusetts.
It looks like he's got a lot of East Coast people. I think it's going to be Michael Chiklis. I feel like Michael Chiklis is in every East Coast crime drama that was on TV for a good 15 years.
Talking about The Thing from Fantastic Four?
The Thing.
Yes.
As a fellow Michael, I mean, I do love me some Chickless. However, I think for me it would be Will Patton, just because Armageddon is a movie that I will watch any point of the movie that is on, anytime it is on.
Yeah.
My brother randomly will text me during the week and be like, hey, you ever seen this movie about a giant asteroid that's about to crash into the United States or crash into the world?
If we're going with the East Coast theme, there's a guy on this list that's more East Coast than Michael Chiklis.
Talking about Jimmy?
Jimmy Sim? Song Kang Ho. South Korea is more East than New York is.
That's about as East as you can get. That's true.
Oh my God. I would love.
I would love if that was it. My second choice would be Jimmy Simpson, because I think Jimmy Simpson's a good actor. People don't know. The only person I don't want it to be is Michael Chiklis.
What's the Chickless hate? Fantastic Four, terrible.
I don't get it. I think the things that people like him in, I don't know if I saw, so I just don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know Jimmy Simpson at all, so that would be really interesting for me, because I recognize him from a lot of things, but I don't know much about him. And then I know none of you talked about Kareena Kapoor. You guys don't want to go down Bollywood again?
I'm down. I'll do it. I'll go back. I'm wanting to go back.
Oh my God. I'm waiting. After the Irfan Khan experience, that was one of my favorite preps ever.
Yes.
And you guys would get to watch some really cool Bollywood films. Three Idiots is one of my favorite Bollywood movies with Amir Khan and Kareena Kapoor. It's awesome. Case says he thinks Marty would pick Michael Chiklis. Aubrey, do you have a guess?
I'm using Case's logic and saying Song Kang Ho.
Okay. And Mike, you said if you came back to back, you would go with Chiklis?
I would go with Will Patton, baby.
Will Patton. That's right. Okay. Well, Mike doesn't decide. Marty doesn't decide. I don't decide, despite what the zeitgeist says about selection for Munson's episodes. The wheel decides, and we'll see what happens. Mike, we reached the end, my friend. You know how we do. We offer up the red carpet to you. The floor is yours, my friend.
Keep enjoying life, because life sucks sometimes, and have fun out there, and keep enjoying and supporting live performances, whether that's stand-up comics, musicians, community theater, or whatever. Me, I'm always a big proponent for live performance. I think it's one of the most beautiful things we have in this world, so we should keep supporting it. And if you're in the west suburbs of Chicago, check out the Studio's Performing Arts, Little Mountain Theater, Magical Starlight Theater, Natural Talent Productions. There's lots of really, really good performances that are going on here in the Chicagoland area. And be a part of it, whether you want to be on stage or just watch us do what we do. We'd love to have an audience, especially here in Chicago, city that loves theater.
And after we had Laura in the last episode, it's just flooding the audience with Chicago content right now. Just pro-Chicago propaganda.
It's the greatest city in the world, despite what Hamilton will tell you.
Mike, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for spending some time talking Anna Faris.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It's always super fun to spend a few hours with you guys, just, talking and making jokes.
Yeah.
As we wrap things, you could find us on Instagram and Threads, Munsons at the Movies. You can email us, munsonsatthemovies@gmail.com. Any final thoughts from Anna Faris?
At first, I really liked spending time with you. I thought you were a genuinely interesting guy to be around. But eventually, it all wore thin. And I realized that your personality was just one short, punctuated joke after another, much like our sex life.
Munsons Out.
All right, let's go. Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity. Doctor, shall we?
To forgive is divine, so let's have a glass of wine and have make-up sex until the end of time.